Hello, and I fixed it, because I'm here now. I broke the computer. Luckily, David and Peter, two players here who often fix things, fixed it, so we're up and running. I'm here with Coleman today.
Hi.
We're doing lots of modern, so I still have some buttons to click since we were pretty much frantically trying to get up and running, all things considered. So I'm going to hit a quick button there. But in this matchup, can you take a quick look at who's facing the wall? We have got Eric versus Bryce Battleson.
Bryce is on the wall.
Okay, we have got Eric versus Bryce, the Battle of the Donaldsons. This is two brothers going in for a grudge match. It is going to be Blue Moon versus Blue-White Eldrazi.
It's a lot of blue.
It's a lot of blue, but oddly enough, not a whole lot of actually, like, blue cards.
Yep.
So, should be interesting. We're going to head on right down to it. Blue-White Eldrazi versus Blue Moon. Who gets your vote?
I'd probably say Blue Moon, just because, well, Blood Moon is very, very, very powerful card.
Yeah, that deck runs more bolts, so I got to take that one as well. All right, let's head on down and have some fun. Sorry about the delay. Okay, so both players taking a look at their opening 7. Bryce on the right, a little bit, I don't want to say new to the Blue-White Eldrazi deck, but maybe playing it for about 2 weeks, which is about the time that the deck's even been around.
Yeah, that's fair.
But still takes a little bit of getting used to, things like that. Other than that, Eric, much more familiar with the Blue Moon deck, getting used to this particular iteration, but he's pretty adept at using it. And look at that, turn 1. So, we have got a turn 1, endless one, and an Eldrazi Mimic, which I believe is gonna
just how Richard Garfield envisioned this game.
You gotta think that at a certain point, this is what he dreamed about. He just didn't have the tools at the time. He was limited by the technology of his time. So
maybe Eric will go land a Pyroclasm.
Eric going with a basic mountain off of that Scalding Tarn, preserving his life total in probably a very reasonable decision at that point, since he's going to be under a lot of pressure. Surprisingly not as powerful as it could be, and not knowing exactly what's in his hand, because I was still frantically changing things, it's possible for this hand to falter a little bit. I see an Eldrazi Displacer, but all things considered...
I did see a Darker Waste, so that Displacer is going to come down this turn.
Okay, but if he's not able to follow it up with a whole lot of pressure outside of that, I see a Drowner of Hope, but if he doesn't hit the mana for that, because he's still, 2 to 3 land drops away from that, then, we could actually see possibly a game develop out of this, which is an unfortunate thing to say.
Yeah, when your opponent played 3 2-1s for free on turn 1.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, and hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for putting up with the fact that we're a little bit late. Okay, so Serum Visions from Eric.
Blame Eldrazi.
Looks
That's
like
why we were late.
Keeping both of those cards on top, so that means that he actually might have a decent shot in this game. Or at
so
least
one of them was a Blood Moon.
Okay, so that's going to be a really solid start.
Although, I believe that's a Reality Smasher.
Once if he drops this Blood Moon next turn, though, that a Reality Smasher isn't actually going to come down.
Yep, but he drops the Blood Moon, he's on a 2-turn clock.
True, he's definitely going to have some answers outside of that. I think this is where we're going to hit the Blood Moon.
So
he does have a Snapcaster Mage, so he could do maybe a Snap Burst Lightning. Maybe keeping up the Snap Burst Lightning at the moment.
Yeah, this line is... Well, Bryce didn't draw the land, so he isn't 100% punished for this.
Indeed. So, a swing for 7. This is going to put Eric down to 1 if he doesn't do anything.
No, this Snapcaster is going to do pretty good, because he's going to basically kill both the Endless ones.
Yeah, because, he can't even really choose to target
the other one. Yep.
And it looks like Bryce would have immediately dropped that Reality Smasher if that's what he had.
Yep. Well, you can't cast Reality Smasher yet.
Exactly, by missing that land drop.
Yep.
Because if he had the means to, he would have slammed that land down and go for that.
Yep.
So that's really hinting at the fact that he's running light on options.
Yep.
Still enough of a clock presented right now. Yep. So
Eric
if he
is actually dead on board.
And I don't think that he has enough on hand. I think that's 2 P and carrying to Lars.
Yep.
I think this is going to be a game 2.
Yeah, me too.
And then we can talk to people a little bit and catch up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you actually hit that land, this P and Karen would actually do a pretty good job.
Yeah, but...
Except for the Reality Smasher.
And, I mean, the Reality Smasher...
Get him on the way out.
Sure. He's going to go down to 1. And, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind, that is a 2-1.
Yeah.
That's a 2-1 flyer. Okay, so game 1 going to Bryce, and while they are sideboarding, let's do a quick hello to everybody. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of people, but hello, my name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And we are streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. Coleman, the first time that he streamed with us, really over a long period, the most recent GPT.
Yep.
And you are actually scheduled to do our next one with me as well.
Yes, I am. It's going to be great.
March 26th, mark it on your calendars. Also, if you guys do ever have any feedback, let us know in this chat. Also, at my Twitter, which is right above my head, I will add Coleman's there as well. Or, if you guys prefer and want to, like, share your opinions to the world and let people know that I at least have a little bit of a good name.
Ooh.
Let's not stretch it too much. But if you want to say, like, he's decent.
He's alright.
There's 2 Reddit posts out on Modern Magic and Magic TCG that if you guys want to let them know that maybe they should check it out, then do so. A quick note. You know what? They're getting less shameless. I've been working on it. But unfortunately, we are starting it off with an Eldrazi match. But what that means is that we have gotten Eldrazi free rest of the night.
Oh, that's true.
So we're just getting it out of the way. It's like a Band-Aid. So we're just trying to get this out of the way. That way we can see, first of all, I mean, the Donaldson mirror match.
That's true.
Donald and Sons. This just doesn't get any better.
Yeah, I know. It's like you can't even have more of them. You have both the Donald sons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But to AJ Irish, Doro, Rabid Mountain Goats, Rob, Prince Kermit, Nighthawk, Night to Night, H-Dog. Hello to everybody who has interacted with us in the chat, and to those of you who haven't yet. We do always enjoy having that chat nice and active. Any kind of questions, comments, anything that you've got, let us know. We take a little bit of pride in being maybe, I don't want to really get into definitive answers, one of the more interactive chats that...
I would
streams that there
really
are.
Like to...
Let's not go ahead and slap a plaque on it yet. 4 rounds with cut or just 4 rounds? You know what? Honestly, I think it might be 5.
Ooh.
But let's find out. I'm going to find out for sure. That way I don't start spreading out misinformation. And
but we will not actually have a cut to top 8.
There will not be a cut to top 8, however. Mostly because this is just a weekly tournament. However, if you tune in on March 26th, which is a Saturday, at noon Pacific time. So right now it's 7:15. So 7 hours and 15 minutes ahead of now. On that 26th of March, we're going to be doing another Modern GPT.
7 hours and 15 minutes before this.
Before this. Did I say after?
Yeah, you said after.
I'm sorry, before this.
Yeah.
I'm not... You know what? Tune in at 4 o'clock. Tune in at 2 o'clock in the morning.
We might still be here. You never know. The timer.
Actually, you know what? That's probably pretty close.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, it might
so
be
we'll just hit that one. So the big thing is, if you tune in for that, we are going to be having 5 to 6 rounds plus a cut to top 8.
Yeah. I hope for as many rounds as possible.
I hope that a pizza shows up. We're going to be hungry at one point.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
Excellent. Now, a quick note is, unfortunately, normally we hang out for about half an hour after the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that tonight. As a heads up, we'll let people know at the end. But we've both got quite a busy morning.
Yeah, it's...
Okay. Ooh, it says how long we've been... That's pretty cool.
Uptime.
Man.
MTG bot taking over the world.
So we've got an Adhikar Waste from Bryce, which was following up from Eric what appears to be a tapped Steam Vents.
Yep. I can't imagine it being any other land.
Yep, so went for a tapped Steam Vents at the end of Bryce's turn, so he's going to be untapping with that one, playing down his second learned and starting to develop his board.
That roast is going to be really strong against, like, basically anything in Bryce's hand.
Yeah, having that roast and that Blood Moon in hand means that Bryce really needs to get something presented right now.
Yep.
Now, this Cave of Koilos seems unusual. Is that, is he doing a Black Splash?
I would assume it's only to pay for Dismember.
Okay, that's a pretty reasonable assumption. And a Burst Lightning in hand as well, so that means that next turn he's going to be going up to 3 lands, dropping down a Blood Moon, and with Bryce already tapped out, his entire mana base is going to be destroyed.
Yes.
So he's going to be... So this is looking like a phenomenal start for Eric, especially having that P and Kier Nalar, which is going to provide a lot of pressure.
That's very true.
And be able to take down some of those smaller creatures. And that Roast to take down just eventually, if Bryce starts casting some of those colorless creatures, that Roast is going to take down any of those large threats.
That's true. But Bryce has the basic planes and the disenchant.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay. So really just going to buy him a turn more than anything.
This is going exactly how Eric wants it, but it doesn't matter. So
he's still at a decent point with a Mana Leak, a Serum Visions as his current options. I'm thinking he'll do the Serum Visions to set up a land for next turn,
definitely,
or possibly his land drop this turn, and then keep up that Mana Leak to keep any kind of creature off the board. Okay, and looks like
I think I'd put both of them on the bottom.
You know, it's an interesting question, and I kind of agree with you, because what he's looking for is something else, but both of those offer a lot of utility, depending on what he drew, which I wasn't able to see.
Yeah, I couldn't see that either.
I'm kind of expecting these to go on the bottom, with maybe, and it looks like he drew the Batter Skull.
Yeah, I would definitely put these on the bottom then.
So keeping that Serum Visions on top, it's not a terrible choice if he's planning on maybe using that Roast next turn, because he still has a couple 2-mana plays.
That's true.
So may decide, depending on what Bryce puts down this turn, to either Mana Leak it, or if it's a threat that he can take down, and this is one that he's very likely just going to Mana Leak and keep up that Roast for later.
I would imagine.
So that means that next turn he still has possibly, I guess, a Roast up, even though he doesn't need it at this point because it's a sorcery. But at least he's able to set up, and there's actually his land, so that's... And 2 Snapcasters.
Those Snapcasters are going to be dynamite.
Yeah, with a Mana Leak, Serum Visions, Burst Lightning in the graveyard. That's pretty much... I mean, he may not keep both of those because he's running light, but with that Roast in hand... Yeah, so keeping just one of them, because with only the one Burst Lightning in there, and doing a Snapcaster for a Roast just doesn't have as much utility.
To play his land.
You were correct, he did.
So...
And there's a Thought Knot Seer, which is going to show that land drop, unfortunately. And actually, a Burst Lightning looks like in hand as well.
I'd take out this Batter Skull.
Actually, I might almost prioritize this Roast, because that or the P and Kier Nalar. But the Batter Skull, as a 4/4, that's going to match up a lot better. So yeah, going to be going for the removal spell, because with him, he's dropping the P and Kier Nalar.
Especially with Bryce's hand of Reality Smasher.
See, and I was going to say, all those cards don't do nearly as well against a Reality Smasher, because P and Kier Nalar, even, chump blocking it, no longer an option, and Batter Skull, unfortunately, really just serves to only take one, because you would gain 5 life, theoretically.
You gain 5 theoretical life.
So, it's not, it's definitely not ideal.
Yeah.
So with Bryce tapped out, Eric, he did get that Snapcaster Mage, but unfortunately the Roast was exiled.
Yeah.
He does have a line of play like Burst Lightning, Snap Burst Lightning available to him.
But I don't like that line very much.
It's a painful line, especially when one more land gets you to the 4 to just kill it.
Yeah.
So...
You do get to hold up Snap Leak, though, which is going to be...
And there's the land that he needed.
Yeah.
So a Reality Smasher coming down, and game 2 not looking a whole lot better.
No.
Eric started off great, though.
But I have to imagine that if Bryce plays the Smasher, Eric's just going to slam the Snapcaster into Leak.
Almost assuredly.
I can't imagine anyone when he lets Reality Smasher resolve when he has access to a counterspell.
And there is that Reality Smasher, and it looks like you are going to be correct.
Yeah.
The only problem at that point is that he's losing a lot of the versatility. He got rid of the one Snapcaster, though at this point with the fetch, he would have been losing it anyway.
Yep.
So, one of the reasons... I'm still a little bit thrown off by him not playing that land last turn. It didn't end up making a whole lot of relevance in it.
But, I mean, not playing that land means that maybe Bryce would have taken Batter Skull, because then he was only 1 mana away from casting Batter Skull.
Okay. And so there's our Snapcaster, probably going to be targeting that Mana Leak. And there we go. So that card going away, still going to be a swing for 4. And actually just chump blocking. That's a curious choice. I can actually understand that, especially if your intent is to just preserve your life total.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a Burst Lightning in your hand. You may as well just take the 4.
Do you know that there's a germ token in the box?
Tokens.
I'm looking for one right now.
Okay.
Cool. They should be alphabetical, but every time that I have to redo them every single evening. Okay. So, Batterskull coming down against a Thought Knot and ripped another Reality Smash off the top, it looks like, because I don't think that I saw a second one in hand.
I don't think so either.
So,
He just passed your turn. Okay, good. Come on.
So, not going to block well, not swinging with that Thought Knot Seer. A little bit of a curious choice, but I can get behind it, especially when that Reality Smasher is just going to do enough damage on its own.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that he's not going to block that because he's close to being able to remove it. If he gets just another burn spell, you know, a whole lot of things are going to feel bad through the and actually, he has the capability right now. Actually, can he?
I don't think so.
Because he doesn't have 2 cards to discard. So he's actually he could swing with this Batterskull, buy himself some time.
Burst Lightning kicked.
To draw a card.
Yeah, and he does get to attack for 4 as well. Because it has Vigilance.
Yeah, and so that's going to negate a decent amount of that life.
Yeah. We actually have a race here, which I did not think you could race 5/5 to trample that are basically immune to removal spells off the top.
Yeah, calling it a I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to call it a race.
I'd call it a race here.
Okay.
then
This card's
again,
going to be off. Bear with me for a moment.
But I just racing is
You're an idealist.
I am, yeah.
So Burst Lightning kicked, able to deal 4 damage opposed to its regular 2 to take down that Thought Knot Seer, which is able to draw him a card. So now a swing for 5. This going to be hitting him down to.
Might be blocking. Can't imagine why though.
Yeah, you know, I don't imagine that he will. And it looks like he might be checking possibly some notes or something. Okay,
Yep.
Just adjusting his life total on the sheet as well.
Yep.
And Eric down to 11, Bryce 15. Next turn, they're both going to be, you know, Bryce down to 11, Eric at 15, unless, of course, a Mimic comes out, which will act as a blocker. But Eric does have
Eric
that.
has a path. Or
Bryce
has a path, that's right.
Okay, so a path is going to be pretty nice, and maybe just keeping that up, but it doesn't feel great to hit a germ token with a path.
Yep.
All things. So actually, at the upkeep, going to be going for that. And I like this waiting until the upkeep to do it.
Yeah, well, then the land doesn't come into play tapped.
Exactly. So it still comes into play tapped.
Yep.
It means that if he wants to do the bounce and then replay it, that's going to take him a full 2 turns.
Yeah.
So he might be taking a look to see if he wants to maybe a counterspell, but, you know, a Mana Leak isn't going to be great, so...
No.
Just going to be going for that basic land.
I think I would have loved to have gotten a mountain with that P&K in his hand.
He does have the other Steam Vents, but you're correct where the question at that point is, you know, if he wants to cast that, then that disables him having a Bolt as well.
Yeah.
And that Bolt at least would have been able to take down the Eldrazi Mimic, if nothing else.
Yep.
And then that means that next turn...
Snapcaster's going to be good.
That Snapcaster is really nice. Still needs to kind of have trouble taking that down, but... You know, if Eric wants to go for that, then next turn he could even actually pay to equip that Batterskull onto one of his Thopters.
That's true.
Which would be a fantastic way to race.
Yeah.
And actually, because they'd have Vigilance, they would be able to profitably block with that Reality Smasher to actually trade with it.
Oh, yeah.
And then could just slap it onto one of his other Thopters. Yep. So,
and if you play P&K, if it comes down to it, you can sack Batterskull to deal 2 damage.
Absolutely true. So he's under a lot of pressure, but with Bryce kind of slowing his hand down a little bit, last turn all that he did was an Eldrazi Mimic, and he still's got 3 lands up. So that means that he's maybe doesn't have quite a whole lot of plays available to him. But going for the Snapcaster right now and going to take down the Eldrazi Mimic, it's not a bad play because that's going to be able to apply a whole lot of pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know why you'd do it on your turn.
Yeah, maybe in response to the trigger, something like that. Just, you know, I'm always a fan of giving your opponents less information than more.
Yeah.
But there's probably a reason for it. He could be trying to Just get it done through possibly any kind of responses that Bryce might have. With only one card in hand, he doesn't have a whole lot of options.
No, it's just... Well, if you're revealing pretty much the only card he doesn't know that you drew.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I was Bryce, I would put my opponent on... Probably not Blood Moon, otherwise he would have slammed it. I would probably be putting him on something like a Batter Skull sort of thing.
And actually going to block with that to only take 4, going down to 7.
I believe he's going to fire off this bolt and discard the PNK.
Okay, and that's going to be really unfortunate because he is a huge Reality Smasher coming down for 8.
The Endless one, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Endless one. So going to be firing off this in response, and at this point, pretty much looking for an answer off the top. But, dang it, I should have known.
Yeah, there's a lot of Endlesses.
I should have known. Hold on, I'm just going to type the full name. Look at that.
Know. Eric just needs to spike a land and he can pick up this Batter Skull and recast it.
True, but that's only going to buy so much time.
Yeah. Is it Staticaster?
That might be a Staticaster. But that Staticaster is still not going to do a whole lot. It gives him the option to put it down as a blocker and bounce as Batter Skull, and then replay that Batter Skull next turn.
That's the line I would think that we're going to see, because it allows him not to die.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much that's the most that you can hope for.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Bryce not having an Ivugan means that a lot of his inevitability isn't in the game right now.
Yep.
So, we're going to see this come down, and if Bryce did get a removal spell...
No, it looks like it's a Temple.
Okay, so a Temple not going to be great there.
Huh?
So, this is exactly what...
Oh, yeah.
Eric just needs to... Unfortunately, it's so bad to say this, but he needs to keep floating the top of his line.
Is it Bolt?
This can actually take down the Endless one.
Yeah, this game is actually turning around.
Yeah. So we're going to get this Batter Skull on the battlefield, and depending on what Bryce comes up with, he has the capability to take down the last of Bryce's threats.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a block here. He's going to gain 4 as opposed to...
That's 8.
Okay. I think they may have just misdone the dice.
I think so, yeah.
And that changes things.
Yeah, it does. It really
does.
Although, crucially, that does give him a 1-turn buffer.
Yeah, that does buy him some time. And then a bolt going to the face instead. So, a pretty bold move.
It's aggressive.
I mean, I can kind of get behind it. He really needs a land right now.
No, he drew Scalding Turn.
So he's actually going to be able to pick up and put back down this Batter Skull, and this is his game plan right now.
Yep.
To continue dropping this, gaining 4 life per turn, and maybe eventually hit an answer. Never mind. And that Stubborn Denial is going to be pretty close to the end of this match. So, that Batter Skull going down, he's about to go down to 2, and if Bryce has anything to follow it up, he's going to be a great spot. But Eric, just struggling at this point. Very unfortunate.
I think is probably going to end the game.
Drowner of Hope is the thing that I meant to say.
Yeah.
Is almost assuredly. And
he drew a bolt.
Yeah.
Bolt him on the way out.
I mean, he likely will.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
It's the red path.
Yep.
So, goes to the combat, swings in, and in response is just going to bolt himself.
Yep. Bolt yourself on the way out. I'll show myself the door, thank you.
Alright, now, Coleman, would you like to do a classic favor for me?
You want me to find someone else?
I would love it if you did.
Alright, let's see if I can try not to have any more Eldrazi on the stream.
On the bright side, I don't think that there's a whole lot in the room outside of that. So, I'm going to head back up to the booth. Bryce is going to be gone when we get there, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit.
Alright.
Hello, and thank you for joining. My name is TJ. I do this stream 3 times a week on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, which, as someone recently commented to me, is a lot. Well, yes, but I love doing it because it's fun to hang out with you guys. So, I appreciate all of you guys coming out and hanging out. If you do have any questions, comments, or feedback, let us know in that chat. Coleman is my fantastic co-host of the night. We are going to try and get another matchup, so don't go. We should have more Magic. I believe 4 rounds at the moment. And, you know, should be a lot of fun. It's going to be 4 hours of just playing Magic, which is the absolutely coolest thing that can be happening. So, if any of you are new, welcome. Be sure to hit that follow button, and hopefully we can be a little bit entertaining. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll let you guys know when we are streaming, as well as, I don't know, maybe tossing out little tidbits, things like that. And that is always a great way to get feedback to me. As for saying that you'd like to see a non-Eldrazi matchup, well, you are in for a treat. Because since we just got that one out of the way, that means that we're pretty much done for the day. As far as Eldrazi goes, I believe that's the only Eldrazi deck in the room. So, if you're looking for non-Eldrazi Magic, this is the place to find it. So, X-Sage, I hope that does please you, and we're going to try and get all kinds of sweet decks on. I know that we've got about 20... Let me find out exactly. We have 20 people, which means 4 or 5 rounds. Not quite sure what we scheduled.
We have another match. Let's go into game 3.
That looks like Carl
versus
AJ.
Yep.
And what is... Do you know how to spell Carl's last name?
I actually do. You put an E right there.
Okay, and is there an E at the end? I don't believe so.
Yes, there is an E at the end.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Going up against AJ, and can you tell me a little bit about what they're running? Carl, I believe, on Jund?
And AJ is on Bogles.
Jund versus Bogles. What game are they going to?
Game 3.
Game 3. Now, I'm going to assume that Jund took game 2.
You think so?
Well, I guess we will find out. Let's head on down to the match. AJ going to be on the left, AJ on the right, Carl on the left. We'll see you guys down there. Okay. And I'm going to try and get that. Otherwise, I'm going to double check. But both these players looks like doing some sideboarding right now. Now, how do you feel about this matchup?
Well, this is the classic have Leyline or bust game.
For AJ?
For AJ.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's very hard for Bogles to beat a Liliana of the Veil. Yeah, if you have a Dryad Arbor, it's pretty strong. I mean, Reed Duke played this at one of the World Championships, and he won the match. He won a version of this match no one thought he could win.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is also Thoughtseize. Very major consideration.
And Inquisition.
Yes. They both do fun, but between that Hand Deception and that Liliana, those are the two biggest things that you're afraid of. If you can miss those two, most of this deck doesn't scare you particularly bad.
I mean, Abrupt Decay is still a thing you have to worry about, because it'll hit your Daybreak Cornets, it'll hit your Unflinching Courages or something.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is to watch out for an Abrupt Decay. Make sure that you have 2 enchantments on your creature before you go to equip or to enchant it with a Daybreak Coronet. So that's probably the biggest consideration that you have to make. Beyond that, AJ, pretty much a Leyline is going to be an extremely big thing. He might also be running some Suppression Field, which is going to
that'd be a good one.
Great job for cutting off Lily.
I don't believe Carl has any spell guides.
Not to my knowledge, but I don't know Carl's list particularly well.
Yeah, I don't know it at all either.
So we're going to try and update that
at least
last name.
At least I don't know the sideboard.
Okay. And I'm going to make a quick Twitter post saying about the stream, so if you want to do a quick little talk about it, I'm going to do hashtag no more Eldrazi. So if you guys want to find it and just favorite that so that people are aware that we're tired of it.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like AJ's keeping his 7, and we've got, I think that's 2 Bogles. Yep, 2 Bogles and a bunch of 1-drop enchantments. So that's exactly how you draw it up. And Carl's on a mulligan to 6. His opener of looked like 4 lands, Bob, Pulse, Scavenging Ooze. Wasn't gonna get there.
And that's a really good way for this match to start up for AJ. Having 2 creatures in hand means that he's virtually immune to the Thoughtseize.
It's true.
Especially considering who's on the play, which I don't think that we know.
I believe Carl's on the play.
And Carl being on the play is a huge boost to him. So having both of these here, and it looks like, a turn 1 tapped Raging Ravine, not really what he wants to be doing, not part of this game plan. So that tells me that Carl probably has a Liliana of the Veil, because I'd be shipping anything that doesn't have early disruption or a Liliana of the Veil. And I actually don't think that
Anger, it looks like.
Okay, so an Anger of the Gods, not a bad option, and at this point, I think more what he's looking to do is probably take that Umbra.
Yeah.
Because that's going to protect it from the Anger of the Gods.
Exactly.
So, that's going to do a lot to reveal kind of what his game plan is at the moment.
It's either the Umbra or the Path, because I don't, especially with that Anger in your hand, the backup Bogle's not going to scare you, and he does actually take the Umbra there. Just writing it down. So I think what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to lead. Ooh, AJ just drew Coronet off the top.
And that Daybreak Coronet going to be really excellent.
Yep.
If I'm AJ, probably going to go for the Spirit Mantle.
Yeah.
And then just hold back this up. And unfortunately, he's opening himself up to a lot of pain here.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, and I know that AJ might be watching this later, is that pay attention to why they might be taking what they're taking. Because as odd as it is, and actually, this could be almost and this Daybreak Coronet going to be going away.
Oh, yeah.
But AJ at least has a turn.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, that Daybreak Coronet going away has 2 Spirit Mantles. Unfortunately, not going to do a whole lot against the Anger of the Gods in Carl's hand. So Carl's in an excellent spot right now.
Yeah, this is actually what I would just drop immediately if you're playing Anger in this matchup. Just strip him of all his relevant things and then just kill all of his dudes.
Yep. So, doing exactly what the game, what the book says.
Gonna Jund.
Exactly. Gonna Jund them out.
Yep. Jund is now a verb.
So things that AJ needs at this point, probably those Umbras.
Yeah.
Umbras are going to be a really key piece, because those Spirit Mantles not doing a whole lot right now.
Or if he can get his guys above 3 toughness.
True, but that's going to be difficult right off the bat with just 1 enchantment. And that other land isn't going to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to do it at all.
So I think what we're likely going to be seeing is this other land come down, maybe put a Spirit Mantle on one of them, and then just a swing for 2.
It'd be a swing for 3.
I'm sorry, a swing for 3.
Yep.
But overall...
It's at 16, not 17. There's the Anger.
Both those creatures are going to go away. The Spirit Mantle are going to go to the graveyard, and AJ pretty much needs to draw extremely well, but definitely having trouble here in the first round. And I think part of it might be laying down that second threat, maybe just a little bit unnecessary. You might actually... I mean...
that's why you play the cards, right?
It doesn't get any better.
No.
Though not going for the Spirit Mantle there seems a little bit...
I think he doesn't want to lose to a Liliana. But...
That could be it. Maybe trying to keep up this Path to Exile as well.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not really a whole lot of cards that would scare you here. That Scavenging Ooze doesn't have any targets.
And if Carl doesn't play another land, AJ does not want to use this Path, because that's going to get him to double black.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is...
So, he's currently having trouble with his lands. He does not have double black.
And it's not like it's not like the Scavenging Ooze is gonna block anyway, because you play it now and you can have protection from creatures.
Exactly. So he's gonna really have to prioritize the threat, and possibly even... And actually, notice that AJ has not cracked that Windswept Heath since he played it down. So he is prepared for the Dryad Arbor.
Yeah.
So that's an excellent job by AJ so far. And as far as...
although he does have a Razorverse Thick in his hand he didn't play, which I don't think... You don't really gain a whole lot of information by not cracking a fetch land here. Ooh. So AJ has just drew Daybreak Coronet.
Do you go for it?
Carl has an Erupticator.
So here's where we find out if he's prepared, and unfortunately, that is going to go very unfortunately for him.
He's going to Erupticate a Spirit Mantle, means Daybreak Coronet falls off.
Yep, and a swing for 1. Worst case scenario, I mean, it's not awful, but as far as Jund versus Bogles, this is almost as fair as it's ever going to be.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to try to kill your enchantments or kill your creatures.
Yeah, no kidding. So Carl has access to some of that life gain, a couple of creatures that, one... Actually, is there any creatures in the graveyard?
There are no creatures in the graveyard.
Yeah, because the other 2 were exiled by that Anger of the Gods. And now we are just in a race. AJ looking to draw something. And
AJ can't even attack here. Because Chord can just activate the Raging Ravine and block.
And hopefully he sees that.
Ooh.
Actually, Carl not seeing it either. Because that I mean, I would have jumped on that.
Yeah. Easy.
Take out their one threat, and then now Bogles with no threats and seeming to be flooded.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't... Best case scenario.
Yeah, that actually is your best case scenario.
So, and I think with AJ reading that now, I think both players might be realizing what could have just happened.
And even if AJ pats, you still have a backup.
Mm-hmm. So, Carl about down to 11 and going into his turn, but with probably a swing with that, because it looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of interaction left.
Not really.
So, probably just going to be swinging with that Raging Ravine, doing a swing for 6. Which is a 2-turn clock at this point.
Yep.
So AJ needs to get maybe an Unflinching Courage into a Daybreak Coronet. That would be a pretty spectacular curve.
Let's see if he can...
A Hyena Umbra into it. What's the name of the one? The
Keen
Ethereal
Sense.
Armor?
Keen Sense would be a good one.
Keen Sense would be a great one. Ethereal Armor would be
Ethereal
excellent.
Armor would be a good one.
And there is a swing for 6.
If he's playing Spectra Ward, he'd be pretty strong.
That would be very strong, but I don't think that he is.
Yeah.
Though, that'd be pretty sweet. And actually going to be going for the Path to Exile on that. I kind of like that, because it does buy you, really, a full turn.
Yeah, I like that a lot, too. Although, with Carl having the bolt in his hand, it doesn't actually buy him a turn.
Well...
Or no, it will. It will never.
It still theoretically buys him a turn. It's still a swing for 6 next turn, and as long as there's no creatures in the graveyard, he's still got a little bit of time. As long as he doesn't fetch too aggressively.
And if I was AJ, I would just get the Dryad Arbor right now.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty much start assembling more blockers.
Yep.
If he's got the removal spell for it, then he was going to, and he would have played this Liliana significantly sooner than now.
And funny enough, Abruptigate cannot kill Dryad Arbor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, so AJ heading into his turn. I mean, I'd be going for the fetch there, as I think just to get rid of that Sony Sickness, and unfortunately gets into his other land, getting oddly aggressive.
Oof.
That's pretty bold, but I can support that.
Yeah, it's as the movie Rounders would say, very aggressive.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he has a whole lot of outs left. With Carl about to be swinging in, AJ with 2 lands, what kind of thing that could he draw to buy some time? Because he's about to take 6, especially with that bolt in hand that we're aware of. I don't think that there are any possible outs with
Honestly, it's probably Keen Sense into Unflinching Courage on your Dryad Arbor.
Okay, I like that play.
Yeah.
And even then, it needs to draw you perfectly.
Yeah, your outs are really rapidly diminishing.
So we're going to be seeing another swing for 6. This time, AJ going down to 4. Just going to pick up that dice, put it back down. And actually, isn't that a swing for 6?
Yeah, it should be.
Alright, you may want to ask him really quick.
4, right?
Okay, they got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Excellent.
Sower of Temptation would be a good one.
No, Sower of Temptation would be a good one.
Except
Absolutely. So what else have we got? It looks like he might just be swinging in, but I think this is more of a motion of... I mean, I think it's more just as a final spite, drawing a forest off of that. You know, when you know that the Bogles decks are running, I think, 17 land, it's pretty unfortunate.
You will not see me weep for Bogles.
That's true.
Yeah.
At least
you play non-interactive, this is what you get.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And really, one of the biggest things is that it's often said that Bogles' worst matchup is itself.
Yeah.
Because the deck is very susceptible to its own draws, both in opening hand and otherwise. And I think that might be part of what we're seeing right here.
Yep.
And Jund, known for being extremely consistent.
Yeah.
And really just showcasing what it can do in its normal game plan here. And looks like a chump block with that Boggle. And there's the bolt. So, looks like game 3 going to Carl.
Yep.
As a quick note, that is Wasteland Carl.
It is. He has a shirt. It says #Team Carl.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
Wonderful. Alright, and it looks like we've got about 10 minutes left. How are you feeling about a possibility of another match? How do you feel about that, Coleman?
I would be fine with that. I think there might be a control mirror going on right now.
Okay.
So,
would you like to do me a favor of favors and be the amazingest of people?
I will do my best.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys back in the booth. Hello, Coleman's off to go find us another match.
Jesus. Fucking Xbox.
We're family friendly. We're family friendly. So, hello everybody, and thank you for joining. Stick with us. We do have more games happening. Crunchy Bubbles, that is the Wasteland Carl. So, Reign of Trains, hello. Crunchy Bubbles, hello. X-Age, hello. Hello to everybody. I hope you guys are having a good time. I'm certainly excited to be here. And, it's always a good time. So, I had a couple of ideas, and I have been thinking, first of all, if you want to, toss out more shameless self-plugs, if you want to follow me on Twitter and like my most recent tweet, which among other things says #NoMoreEldrazi, that's always a great way to show that, you don't want any more Eldrazi. Boom. Shameless self-plug. Now finished. So, it's going to be an excellent night. I'm hoping to get a good turnout, and we're just going to keep on doing this. A quick note to anybody who is new. This is a stream that goes 3 times a week, Wednesdays at 7, Fridays at 7:30, and Saturdays at 6. Modern, Legacy, and Modern, respectively. And so, hopefully you guys join us for more. Hit that follow button. It's a blast. And if you guys ever do have any kind of feedback, I am always open to it. One of the big things that I'm working on now lately is trying to get the word of this stream out there in a better way. And one of those things that I've been doing lately is just doing a monthly post on Reddit, both on Magic TCG and Modern Magic, letting know about the stream schedule, trying to interact that way, and also just trying to be much more active on Reddit. If that's something that you guys have seen and think is good, let me know. And also if you guys have other ways that I can start reaching out more, feel free to let me know, because that's one of those things that I'd like to start working right now, is really building on a solid base, because as much as we're still very much in a casual store doing a stream that we put together, and we've been doing it for maybe 5.5 months, I really feel like we're starting to have a little bit of a consistent product going out. Certainly there's variance in all things. Easter Island Statue, thank you for that feedback. And hopefully it was a good post. I tried to be a little bit more elaborate than I've done in the past and do a bit more of a sales pitch. If I should tone it down in the future, let me know, or if that was just right, or if I should get even more absurd and use more bold lettering and different, font sizes, all kinds of things like that. Always, even feedback in those kinds of things is definitely good. Okay, so other things that we have got going on. Ooh, here's a fun one. I don't think they're in here tonight, but yesterday I actually did an interview for a podcast, which as soon as they are done with it, they'll be sending me a link, and then I will be putting a link up onto my Twitter and other things like that, and hopefully I wasn't awful? I don't know. I might have been. I'm still very new to a whole lot of these things. Still trying to learn, and I'm not quite sure what Dark Glyph Mystic means. But, and Easter Island Statue, I am happy. I'm happy to hear that. That's really cool. I don't often get to interact with people, but if you guys ever want, that is probably one of the best places to give me feedback. Don't want to get picky, but especially if it's positive, because then other people can see that they should be tuning in and checking it out. So, we are looking at towards the end of round 1 right now. We are going to have at least 4, maybe 5. I don't want to get definitive about it just yet, but I'm personally hoping for it, because that's always a really cool way to do it. And one thing that you'll notice is that I'm mostly trying to fill empty space, so if you have any comments or questions for me that you would like me to respond to, just put @Geek Fortress into your question or comment, and I'll do what I can to discuss that. But it's going to be a blast, and Coleman seems to be walking back in now.
I don't have anything for you guys. Sorry.
That's okay. Stick with us. Don't worry. That doesn't mean that it's the end. That means
of course
that
not.
it is the beginning of the future. Nailed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've still got lots of Magic going. At least 3 more rounds, which
Yeah.
should be a blast. We're already able to see several matches on there as well. And do we think that they're going to reprint Ghost Quarter in Shadows?
Ooh.
That sounds incredible.
I would be all on that. I love Ghost Quarter.
I really just think that there needs to be more ways to punish greedy mana bases as it currently sits.
Yeah, definitely.
4-color being such a staple right now is one of the reasons why I'm not particularly thrilled about Standard.
Yeah.
Something that I realized recently is that I tend to respect a format based on the viability of burn within it. Pauper, I'm all good. Modern, great. Legacy, good.
Well, how do
Vintage, I'll force it.
I was gonna say vintage. I'm sure there's gonna be some kind of burn deck. There's always a burn deck.
But there isn't right now. And so Standard, not
I
thrilling
mean,
me.
a Tarka Red's kind of a burn deck.
Tarka Red is not kind of a burn deck.
Mm.
They are running Become Immense. That's closer to Infect than it is to Burn. As far as cards that are... I mean, it's absurd. Which one gets banned, Eye or Temple? I'd rather keep the conversation off of the Eldrazi, but I'm going to say Eye because it is somewhat reminiscent.
I mean, we just saw why I is insane on the first round.
Yeah, and also just, it reminds me a lot of Birthing Pod and Stoneforge Mystic
Yeah.
in its consistency and repetitiveness once that certain point of the game gets hit. So...
We're not getting straight counterspell back, guys.
I mean, unfortunately, we... Ooh. Look at Doro going.
Oh
my goodness. 6 Words is one of our favorite games here. It's certainly one of mine,
fun.
and it leads to some of my worst best quotes. But Counterspell, unfortunately...
So many upwards.
So many. God, we really like to put up numbers.
Yeah, up numbers. Yep.
But to those of you just joining, or to your new and those consistent, or didn't catch the GPT, let's take a quick moment as we're waiting to introduce Coleman, who is my excellent co-host. Probably one of the, hopefully you guys agree, one of the better kind of color commentators that we've had before. But thank you.
Quite the compliment. Thank you.
For joining again. You're going to be with us actually this whole month, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
Every Wednesday?
Yep, every Wednesday.
Excellent.
I'll try to be here on Saturdays. Can't promise that one.
So what would you say is your favorite part of Magic?
That's actually a pretty big question.
Because let's put this in perspective from my answer.
Okay.
It's kind of changed over the years, but what it has eventually become is actually the community more than anything else.
I think that's what my answer would be too.
Okay.
The Magic community is actually some of the best people I've ever met.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely agree. And I guess here's another question that may help. You're one of our mods actually in the Twitch chat as well, who still kind of getting a hang on some of the stuff.
Yeah, it's
certainly Doro still probably the shining beacon of perfection of what a mod could be.
Probably, yeah, that's fair.
But what have because my experiences with this Twitch stream are almost entirely within the context of talking.
Yep.
So how about a little bit of what your experience with the stream has been from the multiple perspectives?
Oh, it's great. We get to figure out some decks that I never thought I'd play. Actually, if Thursday is Go is in the chat right now, that person sent me a list for Wargate, and it's actually become one of my favorite decks in this format.
Has it really?
Yeah, once you cast a Wargate, you just don't look back. It is actually great. But no, it's great to interact with all you guys in the chat. Just talking about random decks, because I also love brewing. That's my favorite thing to do. That's why I love Modern so much. And just when you have a lot of people dedicated to making this one card work, it's sometimes can lead to great results.
Yeah, that's definitely something true, and I guess I've never really had the opportunity, and yes, it is Modern.
Yes, it is Modern.
I'm super excited for that
Yep.
GPT. I can't wait to have you as a co-host for that one
That's
as
gonna be
well. Cannot wait. But yeah, it's certainly been really interesting, and just watching, I guess I haven't really had the opportunity to be a part of the Twitch chat before. I casually interact with it.
Yep.
But it seems like oftentimes it's more towards the end as people kind of get familiar with each other.
Yeah.
And certainly a lot of the regulars start kind of interacting with each other a lot. And that's always something that's really cool for me to watch, especially when I'm kind of like doing that really just constantly talking about what's happening on the mat. And then out of the corner of my eye, I can just see people actually like, I'm like, man, I wish I could respond to that. But someone else is like, I got it.
I got you
and
already.
they're just like, boom. And I'm like, yeah! These people are amazing. So it has definitely been interesting. I think the biggest question that I've got recently, which I'm sure is something that you'll be coming up soon with, is it's been a while since I've competed in store, just through the nature of doing this. And a lot of people have been asking if it's something that I miss. And so to do a quick response to that, not nearly as much as I expected.
Yeah.
Starting off, I did a little bit, and I was kind of itching to play, but...
Sure.
You know, the more that I do this, the more that it's just really fantastic to be, what's the word? Connected? I guess, to be, like, connected with the Magic community and working kind of with all of you, doing all these cool things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And certainly I miss playing, but I get to play. I mean, certainly you're not here to when I am, but I'm here a lot. And I still definitely get my playing fix in.
Oh, yeah.
But... Certainly the competing fix, the last time that I got to compete was at GP Vancouver. I haven't even actually been in a sanctioned tournament since. I mean, I did great there, so...
Yeah, you won 100% more game matches than you thought you would.
I lost to Jeskai Control. Yeah. I lost to Jeskai Control in Modern. That was my loss out of 10 rounds.
Team Beta better be here.
Do you know who Team Beta is?
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, you better show. I've actually been thinking about, how is Death and Taxes in Modern?
Funny you ask that.
That is a great question. If you had watched our last GPT, Death and Taxes actually won.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. Death and Taxes is very good if you know your meta well.
Yes. You need to build your deck.
Also, could you take a quick look out to see anything happening? Nope. Okay, we're good. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing something.
No.
But Death and Taxes, very good if you have a defined meta that you're going into.
Definitely.
Because the deck offers a lot of tools, whether you want to do the mono-white or the green-white. Both of them offer,
blue-white.
You know, there's a lot of options. And it's you can do whichever one, and even that's one of the versatilities that your meta provides. But I think that it does a great job at kind of hating against everything. I think the biggest issue with... I think the biggest issue with Death and Taxes is that it's able to hit on so many different strategies, but not with the same cards.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it gets the wrong half.
Yeah, well, I guess it's the classic ramp problem of sometimes you draw all the ramp spells and no business, and sometimes you draw all the business and no ramp. And
if you guys are wondering, Hippie Pancake in there is the winner of our last GPT with Death and Taxes. But... yeah, I think the biggest thing is that also comes down to when you're making those mulligan decisions, or when you're making you are aware of what your opponents will be playing, you can make a lot more of those decisions.
Although, a pro tip for building any Death and Taxes lift, never leave home without 4 Flicker Wisp.
Yes. Yep. That's a great point.
Yep.
Also,
and 4 Aether Files.
And Ghost Quarters.
And Ghost Quarters, yes. those are the 4 ofs, everything, and probably some number of basic planes.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, you don't need them.
No, but you probably have them.
I prefer mountains.
Yeah.
I should build a mono red Taxes list. You in?
Yeah, I'm in. Hold on. We play Thorn of Amethyst because it's modern legal. 3 balls modern legal.
Tunnel Ignis makes them take 3 damage for every fetch. Yeah. As long as
that's right. I remember that.
As long as they intend to cast things during their turn.
Yeah, that's right. Because there was one deck I built that was a Warp World deck that killed them with Tunnel Ignis because all their lands came into play at the same time and they took 3 damage for each of them.
Brilliant.
Right. And then I got an Amulet player to scoop Tywin on turn 2.
Scotty B7, that sounds incredible. And if you guys want to come jam sometime, I'd love to meet the whole Team Beta.
Oh yeah. Come on out.
Awesome. Plus, since I think, at least me, and I think you, are somewhat perspective at starting to do grinding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, actually, fun fact, one of the reasons why we won't be able to stick around a whole lot of time after this, I know that normally we do a big, long, half-hour kind of hangout with you guys. We may not be able to.
Yeah.
And part of that is because he's got work in the morning, and I've got a job interview that could end up being incredible.
Ooh.
And if it does, then that's going to enable me to actually start doing a decent amount of grinding.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, so
Big
I'm
things.
excited. Also, if you guys want to tell me good luck, feel free. I'm a bit nervous.
Oh, you'll do fine.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah. On the bright side, it's a second interview, so they liked me enough to at least
Hey,
like.
there you go.
So we'll see. But it looks like round 2 might just now be coming up, and it looks like a lot of you stuck with us. Thank you so very much. Can you see I'm getting ready?
I do not know.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure that you guys are a pretty cool group of guys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Cohen and I are always interested. If you guys ever have testing that needs done or opinions, you guys have probably got it handled. But let us know. We both do a lot of Modern.
Yeah, this is by far my favorite format.
So, but anything else, feel free to get in touch with us. We're happy to interact with people.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's like every time that someone has contacted me about anything, it's like, I'm down to do cool things. Okay, so we've got Ryan on the one side.
You have Rolando on the other side.
Ryan and Rolando, huh? Okay, now do you happen to know what either of them are on?
Ryan, you rocking the usual? Ryan, are you on the same thing?
We're finding out what they're playing.
Okay. I already know what you're playing.
So okay, what have you got?
Ryan's on Burn.
Ryan, is it his Mardu Burn or Naya?
I believe it's Mardu Burn.
His Mardu Burn is the weirdest thing, but I can totally dig it. We'll switch that if it ends up being Naya.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Although Rolando is on something very spicy. He's on Blue-White Control.
Oh, yes. This is amazing. Okay, so is this like the Amiria control one?
No. It is actually just... I think he's playing 3 Sphinx's Revelations.
Brilliant. I love it. Also, I'm going to take that as a compliment saying that I'm Tom Ross, mostly because he's one of my favorites. And actually, my birthday's not till April, but I already know that I'm getting a new leather jacket. Oh, it's going to be nice. I can't decide until when I start grinding to either go for the leather jacket or actually just wear a suit to every event. Because I love wearing suits. The only problem is that after 8 hours, they can get hot.
Yeah.
So that's the consideration. Anyway, let's head on down to the match. Blue-White Control up against Burn. This is a perfect matchup in which Burn is very likely favored, but that level of stabilization is so clean of when it will happen.
And
so,
if Blue-White Control can get off a rev,
brilliant.
Whew.
So let's head on down and watch some sweet things.
Yep.
Alright, so both players getting ready. Rolando, recently, both of these players, fairly consistent players. Yep. Ryan, the winner of one of our Modern No ban list, does a whole lot of, decent amount of grinding, and mostly just puts up good results, plays Legacy as well. Rolando, I think, is much more focused in Modern, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Tends to be a red deck player.
Yeah.
In my experience.
He's kind of all over the place, it seems like. But... he's also been on stream playing Slivers. He
has been on stream playing Slivers. He recently top 4'd a GPT.
Yep.
So did you.
Yeah,
you top
so
2'd.
I did. Yep.
You top 2'd.
Yeah, I lost to Blood Moon, because that's not a fair card.
Blood Moon is amazing. So that's a fact.
Funny enough, I lost to Eric, because he played Blood Moon.
In a Blue Moon deck?
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yep. Couldn't even play around it. Didn't draw any fetch lands. Just played a Blood Moon.
Oh, well.
Yep.
So we've got Rolando, looks like going for a mulligan, and I am seeing 6. A lot of land. This might be a 5, actually.
That is definitely a 6. But
this is a 6, but we might be going to a 5.
He has main deck negate.
And actually
and an Ojutai's Command.
That is glorious.
Yeah.
So... Ojutai's Command, huh?
Ojutai's Command.
So let's bring that card up, and hopefully we can see that get cast. Ojutai's Command, probably one of the sweeter cards in this deck. Choose 2. Return target creature card with converting cost 2 or less from graveyard to the battlefield. Workable with Snapcaster Mages. Gain 4 life, target a creature spell, and draw a card. But we see a Goblin Guide off to an early swing in for 2 off of Ryan.
Oh, it looks
and
like it's Naya Burn.
This does look like it is Naya Burn. So we're going to make that appropriate change there.
My bad, guys.
Such is life. So we have got 2 fetch shocks from Ryan, already down to 14, and dropping a Wild Nacatl, turn 2. That tells me that he just drew the Wild Nacatl, more than anything else. So it's a swing for 4. This is almost as good as it gets, but we see a Hollow Fountain, and
the second land.
we actually might see Rolando have to discard.
Yeah. Little did you know, Goblin Guide is actually Thoughtseize. But
more of a Ravens card.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So here's a pass, and actually because of his mulligan, I think he's at exactly 7 cards in hand. So these Goblin Guides, and followed by a Monastery Swiftspear into...
That's going to get negated, yeah.
Now, absolutely incredible. Still gets the prowess trigger, though.
Yeah.
And this is a swing for 7, 8, 9. This is... Rolando is going to be down to 5.
Yeah.
5.
There's one. Is he going to hit another land? I was going to hit a Wall of Omens.
And a Wall of Omens is going to be nice, but I think
he's still dead.
I think he is still in a huge amount of trouble.
Man.
He needs to answer at least 2 of these creatures with 3 lands.
Yep.
I mean, Ryan off to an incredibly fast start. Those Goblin Guides, excellent. Wild Nacatl, again, not my preferred card in Burn, but I can get behind it.
Draws a Path to Exile. It's not bad.
And
here's the Rev, but he's not going to have time to cast.
Unfortunately, yeah, dropping that Wall of Omens pretty much only works if he gets land into Path to Exile, because right now he is dead to the board.
Yep.
And there's no blue spell that will save him.
Yep.
Unless he's running a Vapor Snag, which would be actually incredible.
That'd be hilarious. But I don't know if I would let flip the top card of my library prevent information.
Yeah, and I think
Rolando has 8 cards in hand. No, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Though you may want to just have him check cards in hand next.
Rolando, do you have 8 cards in hand?
Yeah, I had a whole bunch.
You're not supposed to.
It's supposed to be at 7.
Got him. Nailed it. Justice is served. So someone mentioned that they're hoping for miracles to be viable in Modern. The biggest thing that is keeping that from happening, like Mike mentioned, is a brainstorm effect.
Yep.
And mostly out of that is just is a way to get them from your hand back into the library, and that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I don't want Brainstorm in Modern.
I am okay with it not being there. Maybe at a much higher cost, but the problem is that then it's not even worth running.
Yeah, and then you're just playing basically a bad crystal ball.
Hooray!
Yeah, I mean...
And like a bad crystal ball is... that's almost a sentence in itself as far as evaluation goes.
Like, I mean, you could already play Seer's Lantern, and that's like a slightly better crystal ball, and that's not even like... even close to standard playable.
Yeah, and just a quick note to Mike, as well as Easter Island Statue, although I already said hi to them. Hello to both of you. I don't think that I've seen you guys in the chat previously. Easter, I think, mentioned that they were at our last GPT, but I don't think that I've seen Mike in our chat before. If you are new, welcome. We're happy to have you. If you are not, and I just either forgot or you've been here before and just not commented, welcome back! And I'm sorry that my memory isn't always as good as it could be.
Yeah.
Certainly I see a lot of names, and honestly, that's super exciting for me in and of itself. And so, sometimes they get mixed into the scramble. Okay.
Yes, Sea Beyond is actually a card, but it's not putting them back on top of your library, which is the big deal here. And Dig Through Time will never be legal in Modern again.
Sonori, how could I forget you?
None of the Delve draw spells will never be legal in Modern again.
Yeah, probably. And also to Sonori, actually just a couple of the people, there are actually Scarce Satsuma, first of all, is a fantastic name.
Scarce Satsuma.
That is fantastic.
First coming up with Sea Beyond, then the name? Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, man. In my last... wow, you played Blood Moon main deck when he's... I mean, why wouldn't you play Blood Moon main deck?
Yeah, I mean...
That card's excellent.
It's you probably get 40% of your wins from playing Blood Moon.
Yeah, no kidding. Big fan. Okay, so it looks like a couple of these players about to jump in. Oh yeah, my quick note. Some of these people have been with us since the beginning.
Yeah.
Even longer than you have. And
Yeah,
you
that's
were-
true.
you
I
popped
was here
in
pretty
within a
early.
month.
Yeah.
And I cannot thank those people enough for just being always. I mean, it is incredible. First
Yeah.
of all, we were not good when we started. We were not. So the fact that they saw that and they didn't leave, incredible. So I cannot thank those people, and thank you for being a part of this because, and also Jay Melson, congratulations on the Scred Red. I'm gonna open that up. Unfortunately, I will not be able to comment on it too much until maybe between rounds.
Yeah.
I would love to.
I would also like to look at this because I do love the card spread.
And if we don't get the opportunity to, send the list to me and him probably
Yeah.
at our Twitters right above our head. You can also find me on Reddit, RedBaronMTG. I'd love to help out. So, a turn 1 Celestial Colonnade from Rolando, followed by Ryan swing with a basic mountain into a Goblin Guide, revealing, I believe, a Snapcaster Mage
Yep.
off the top.
I got to imagine the Snapcaster might be acting as Ambush Viper here.
Almost true.
Although, Wall of Omens is a good one. And Rolando drew a Verdict off the top, so... Or I guess off the Wall of Omens. So, I mean, this is... Ooh.
So, oh my god. This is amazing.
I think it is actually impossible for Ryan not to draw a billion 1-drops.
And a Path to Exile, so not an awful
Yep.
card.
Reveal it
And
twice.
Path to Exile needs to be cast very soon.
Yeah.
It is not the kind of card that you can just let. You don't want to let their creatures stay on.
That is a Minamo, yes. Is Minamo,
School at Water's Edge?
School at Water's Edge.
I'll tell you what, I'll even bring that up because I'm, I don't know, the cream of the crop. Boom.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Uh,
Minimo, basically there is able to untap a legendary permanent, does almost nothing except get you out of choke situations. Except
he also
Vindicator
plays
Click?
Ojutai.
Ooh.
And it untaps Jace.
Untapping Jace, so he is running Jace in the main board,
Yep.
which is actually a direction that I've really liked out of current control decks, because I think that the big issue is that they don't have those generic answers.
Yeah.
Being able to dig rapidly to the answers that they're looking for,
Yeah.
I think is a huge plus. So I expect to see Jace become a little bit more main. And
Ryan just has nothing but creatures.
dropping another Monastery Swift Spear here, a swing for
He
6,
should put these triggers on the stack first.
and yes, absolutely he should. So we have another Snapcaster, and if he has maybe an Atarkus Command, or maybe a Skullcrack in hand, and I think that might be a Skullcrack.
I think if I was in Rolando's spot, I'd just want to fire off a path and then just run Ambush Viper out there.
Okay, and actually just gonna let that happen, deal the 4. So actually,
Suspend 2 Rift Bolts.
and I think a decent amount of that was Rolando saying, "Wait, I'll respond if he starts activating these prowess triggers." So you know that way, if he responds, I can take out a lot of that. But 11, not the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
The big issue right now is that those Monastery Mentors are going to be massive.
Yeah.
Uh,
But Rolando does have a Verdict. And the 4th land.
does he?
Yeah.
That's going to be excellent, but I'm not sure if he actually has enough time, because I think he's got a Skullcrack in it. I think he has a 2-mana burn spell in hand.
Okay.
From what I saw. I could be wrong. But that's 9 damage as it currently sits, and with Rolando at 10 right now, he is in a huge amount of trouble.
Yeah.
He needs to float the top of Ryan's library an insane amount.
Yeah. He needs to dodge the top card.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not even sure if casting Supreme Verdict is the right call in this particular situation.
Yeah.
It might be better to just drop a land and try to remove some of those threats and restabilize, because right now, being at 10, so he's going to go for it. The only issue right now is that with Ryan having a card in hand, you are looking down at least being at 4 next upkeep.
Yep.
And I may have been, not knowing exactly what's in his hand, I may have hoped to maybe use that path in Snapcasters, maybe do a path, snap, path,
Eidolon.
to eliminate a lot of it. And
Okay.
that Eidolon almost entirely closes out the game.
I don't think so, actually. Because all Rolando has to do is play 1 Oshitai's command.
He does, but if he has it.
He
And how
definitely has it.
in hand?
Yeah, on the far... Yep, I'll wait for it. That's an Oshitai's command.
That is going to be beautiful, actually.
And he's probably going to gain 4 life and return the wall.
Return the wall to the battlefield, draw a card. That is going to buy him a decent amount of
Yeah.
time. The only problem is that he's still under a significant amount of pressure.
Yeah, I would definitely do it now so you don't find the opportunity to untap and have access to Skullcrack, though.
Definitely true.
Yeah.
Or just having 2 burn spells to do in response.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to avoid any... I mean, that is just the worst feeling in the world, getting blown out by that. So here is the Ojutai's command. Let's go ahead and bring that up again. Now, this is an excellent card that a lot of people wondered, is this good enough for Modern? And the resounding answer was no. And then people tried it.
And apparently Rolando did not get the message.
The answer is still largely no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in a lot of cases, it's pretty effective. And right now, especially in this shell, I like it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's able to fill out a lot of the roles. And I really like that blue-white control is able to play a really reactive game that isn't so centered around having kind of that... my biggest plus is my biggest kind of weakness of the deck as well.
Yep.
Which is that you are really vulnerable to having a slow win condition. But that means that you aren't diluting your deck with your win condition that also acts as control pieces of those burn spells that aren't always effective.
That's true.
And so it's able to turn it into a much more reactive, apply a lot of those answers to be a little bit less burn-centered, but you really need to have a great way to assemble the win, which is problematic in a lot of ways. So, plus minus, personally, I'm a big fan of blue-white control. I hope it continues to do well.
Yeah, I really, really like this deck. I've been saying basically every time a new deck comes on the scene, well, I mean, it's really good with this blue-white control deck. That's definitely coming, I promise you guys.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
So, that Wall of Omens going into Ryan's turn, both players seem to be...
I think we're in a holding pattern.
Alright. So, as for why he took the red-white and not the red-green, my assumption is because with that red-green untapped, there is the small chance that he has an Atarka's command in hand.
But I mean...
Or just some kind of cutting off of a color when he's tapped out, and, you know, a Borostrom off the top might just present more of a threat to Rolando at the moment, in his opinion. So, may have just deemed that to be a higher priority, and also going for the land that's tapped. I guess, either way, Ryan is capable of casting spells.
That's true.
So I think he was just prioritizing the white mana.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he might be asking about...
How many land drops he did?
No, I think he might be asking about the interaction between an X spell and... Eidolon?
Checks it on the stack.
Yep, so if he casts a Rev for 3, which I think he's probably going to do,
then
it will not trigger Eidolon.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay,
And Rolando is at 7. Because he just cracked the fetch.
Oh, thank you. I forgot to hit the button. Still working on making that more efficient.
Here's the Atarka's command.
Coming down the line, though. Burn is playing Wild Nakatl. And also, Force Foul HD. Welcome. I'm not sure if we've had you before, so thanks for joining, and I hope you stick around and enjoy the show. Let us know if you have any questions or comments, or I guess feedback too.
Yeah.
So, Rolando, able to do basically untapping now, and are you able to see? I don't see Sphinx's Rev, but that doesn't mean that I don't see.
He just cast it.
And he's back at 4?
Yeah, because he was skull cracked.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rolando, can you move your grave down? Down a little bit. Perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. I got distracted by the chat. My apologies.
Well, the chat is very distracting.
So, we have got 7 lands into another Supreme Verdict. It's a bit of an interesting choice, and that I guess he might be asking him to show how he's tapping for it first.
Yeah, you always want to make sure that you make them tap their mana before you let anything happen.
Mm-hmm. So, we have got 4 mana there. The board getting wiped again. And with Rolando...
Is this a Ration Cleric? Oh, that isn't a Ration Cleric.
I call it Erishan, but, I mean...
Also a combo with Ojutai's command.
Because it can come back to the battlefield.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about this card as opposed to Lone Missionary? Because I actually have to say that I would probably favor Lone Missionary in this particular situation.
Lone Missionary trades with Goblin Guide, this doesn't.
And this one acts as a bit more of a wall, but also Lone Missionary just gains 4 life.
Yeah.
It's not super relevant. I don't want to say that it is, but I just really feel like I prefer that card personally.
I mean, every life point you have, also Lone Missionary attacks better.
Lone Missionary does, and I think that neither of us are Ryan.
No.
Do you mean Coleman?
Hi.
I don't know. Possibly. That could be that I'm wrong. I don't know. Okay.
I think Ranger another Eidolon.
And another Eidolon coming down. Able to keep up this, but Ryan not getting a whole lot of burn.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, we're dividing the chat with her pronunciation of the card.
I mean, if we're gonna have a feud in the chat, this is a
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Rolando already cast a verdict, so you can't have a feud killer's verdict.
Exactly. So we have got another fetch land from Ryan, who is getting
Yep.
6 lands out of a burn deck. And
Restoration Angel. That's a good one.
that Restoration Angel is excellent right now.
Yeah, and like also in this spot, Lone Missionary would be a little bit better since it would actually trade with Eidolon.
That's a really solid point as well. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised to see
Yeah,
Ryan not block there.
no blocks there is a little bit bold.
Only because it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that Rolando is able to pump a creature
Yeah,
at all.
I can't imagine anything.
So while it's not particularly relevant, I think that it would just save you 1 life, and sometimes that matters.
Yeah.
Certainly that feels weird for me to say, but
Every life point matters. Well, it's weird to see Spell Pierce still in Rolando's deck. I would imagine that's a card that gets brought out for more dispels.
normally you wouldn't take out a Spell Pierce for it, though. You would take out something that doesn't hit most of these burn spells.
I guess that's fair.
Because certainly you don't expect Ryan to be on 6 lands
Yeah.
by the end of the game. So, we have got a Goblin Guide getting dropped, taking 2 damage off of his own Eidolon there. So, Ryan down to 9 and Rolando at 10, and this is kind of... It happened a couple of turns ago, but this is that clear point in stabilization that we were kind of talking about.
Definitely. See, this Snapcaster is might go after the Ojutize command, just to try to basically put the game so far out of reach. Because I can't even think about the cards Ryan could draw here that would get him out of this. Okay, well, it'd probably be like running Boros Charms.
I'm pretty sure that... Yeah, I mean, running Boros Charm is basically hitting for 2 off of this and then Boros Charm into Boros Charm would probably be the way to do it, but that's dependent on Rolando having no other options.
Trigger that got missed here. Hold on. Oh, there it is.
Yep,
Ghost
and
Quarter.
getting a Ghost Quarter into hand. So, and a block that way?
Yeah, that's...
I really like that block. I mean, it ended up getting him the win.
Yeah.
But I like that because, you know, with Ryan being at 6... I'm okay with him losing the Eidolon because that means that he can start casting those counter spells pain free.
That's
Especially having that Spell Pierce, things like
Especially having that Snapcaster.
that. Okay, so let's go ahead and
That would really favor Burn if he started at 200 life.
no kidding. So getting ready for Game 3 and to answer a couple of quick questions to Jens or Speffries. And it looks like and also to Forcefall. Looks like both of you I haven't seen in the chat before. Welcome. It's really cool to have you guys in the chat. I think that there's a decent amount of new faces, and hopefully, if you guys have the chance to, 1, hit that follow button. It makes me feel good. 2nd, if you have the chance, let me know how you found us. I think part of that
be interested in that
because. Like I said earlier, I'm still working on the best ways to kind of get the word of this stream out. Mm-hmm. And so part of it is trying to, I've done some Reddit posts, I've done some, just trying to be the highest rated on Twitch, or at least highest viewing on Twitch. I've done a little bit of Facebook and Twitter, things like that. First of all, Baruhara and Tucker, hello to both of you. Again, I don't think that I've seen you guys either, and the amount of new faces is actually incredible. We are streaming, and actually, let's just introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
My name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And we are streaming from Geek Fortress. It is a shop in Snohomish, Washington.
Yep.
We do this stream 3 times a week. It is just our weekly tournaments. So we do Wednesdays, we do Modern, 7 o'clock Pacific time. On Fridays, we do Legacy at 7:30 Pacific time. And on Saturdays, we do Modern again at 6 o'clock Pacific time. So we do this 3 times a week. One thing to keep in mind is that they are casual REL. Unfortunately, these aren't the major tournaments, but the 26th of this month, mark it on your calendar, starting at noon Pacific time.
It's gonna be insane.
GPT, it's gonna be 5 to 6 rounds plus a cut to top 8. It is going to be awesome.
Yeah, everyone in the Snohomish area should come up. Even if you're not in the Snohomish area, you should try to come up.
Yeah, that's definitely an excellent recommendation. And it looks like some people saying that they found us on Twitch. That seems to be the most popular one, which, understandably, that's to be expected.
That's great.
And certainly looks like that. Yeah, we do all these tournaments live, and I'm glad that that's a draw to people.
Yeah, me too.
Another thing is there a way to maybe label it that we're an interactive chat that like tries to work with you guys? Because I feel like that would be a decent draw as well. Because one of the things that we take that pride in here is that we do interact with that chat. It's the reason why it shows up on the screen is so that when people are watching these on YouTube, youtube.com, user Geek Fortress, you can see all of our previous streams.
Plug.
Then people are able to understand why we're talking to nobody. Well, it's not nobody.
Yeah.
It's Spleen and Dirty Dan and Bruhara. You're Dirty Dan. That makes him Pinhead.
Only on the internet, everyone.
So, I think maybe we'll start trying to market the fact that we're interactive.
I think so.
Because I really like that about us.
Yeah, I do too.
And also, it looks like someone found us just because we were hosted. Probably by Hoogland. We've been hosted by a couple of people. Hopefully they keep doing that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Big ups to all the people who have ever hosted us. You guys are real nice.
His mayonnaise a card. You know, I'm sure that if you talk to Wizards R&D about the next unset, they'd probably put mayonnaise in it.
I mean, it depends. I mean, they had jar of eyeballs previously.
That's true.
So
it's true.
We're pretty actually. Let's just alter a jar of eyeballs to be a jar of mayonnaise. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna have to rechange the description so it's like it just has a parentheses interactive. So
it's unfortunate. Rolando went from 7 lands to no lands.
And Rolando going down to 5.
Yeah.
Now it looks like Ryan kept his 7, which is excellent.
Yeah. It's nothing like mulliganing to 5 against the Burn player who kept their 7. It's not a good feeling.
And Burn is really a deck that doesn't mulligan particularly well. Because part of the
2 lands,
problem,
5 spells, yep, that's going to do really well for Ryan.
Yeah, and while the deck is considered, that super consistent deck in that it's a combo deck which all the pieces are redundant, the problem is that they do need to cast a certain number of them.
Yeah.
And so, mulligans are pretty difficult on the deck. But Rolando, looking at a 5...
Rolando, I'd keep that. It's got 2 lands and you got a spell you can cast.
And honestly, I think that's about as much as he can hope for at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I'm looking for in a mold of 5. And he's got a rev, so when he just keeps drawing some lands, it's going to do well.
Yeah, basically he's either going to draw the cards that he wants to see, or if he hits those lands, he has an out down there.
Oh, look at that. Rolando's getting lucky. Ryan didn't lead on a Goblin Guide this game.
Yeah, and that's actually extremely relevant. The 1-drop creature, and this is why the Nacatl versions run Wild Nacatl. Mm-hmm. It's so that they have another turn 1 creature, because that is a huge part of it. Personally, I don't like the Wild Nacatl, and I prefer having that little bit, but the reason that why you run that Wild Nacatl, speaking of, but that is the reason why you run the card, is so that you can have that greater chance, because if you're just expecting on getting the job done with those creatures, casting a 1-drop creature, extremely relevant.
Yep.
And that's what Wild Nacatl is perfect for. Personally, I'm a purist when it comes to burn, and I think that that's part of it, but...
Honestly, I think Shard Volley is a little bit better, but that's just me.
All right. And,
Well, that's interesting. Need to talk to some people about that. But, I mean, Rolando's patching up a basic planes here. It's interesting that he'd search up a basic. I don't think... Maybe he's trying to play around Molten Rain. But you're on a mulligan to 5. You basically gotta play to your outs. And I don't think one of your outs is beating Molten Rain here.
Okay.
Especially when you have 2 verdicts in your hand, you just gotta maximize what you can.
Absolutely. So with Rolando down to 15, his biggest outs at this point, I mean, he has the Supreme Verdict.
He does have tools. He has a wall of omens, so like he is gonna get a card deeper.
Yeah, and I think right now what he's just looking to hit, actually that Path to Exile,
Path's gonna be pretty good.
Pretty relevant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Rolando, I might be considering pathing my own guy.
Pathing Your Own Guy, certainly an interesting play. Maybe keep up the Spell Pierce and the Path.
Yeah.
But that Path, you might also want to redirect it towards
Torpor
that
Orb.
Eidolon. Torpor Orb's an interesting choice, and I really like that, actually. Because, you saw so many Enter the Battlefield triggers. Wall of Omen, Snapcaster Mage, Erishin Cleric. There's a decent amount of those right now.
Yeah.
And I really like that. That's a pretty cool piece of sideboard. Okay. So, a swing, 4/3. Gonna block that Wild Nikotl. Definitely not the wrong call there.
But that is a unique YouTube URL. I don't know what you're talking about, Toro. Looks like we're on to another path.
And it's not awful, except for the fact that he only has one white source.
Yeah.
But having those paths, not bad, except for the fact that he didn't fire off one sooner.
Yeah.
If he was going to start using it, he needed to do it much sooner.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so we have got a swing in again for, it looks like 6, and with an Atarka's Command. That is going to actually beat this in the Wall of Omens in combat, and actually just going to let it happen. So I think what he's, and I like this, because what we're seeing is Ryan accepting that as the board currently sits, he has the win.
Yeah.
And
he is going to path his own wall. So
with this Atarka's
that.
Command, he's now making it so that Rolando cannot stabilize. Because anything that Rolando is going to cast that's going to gain him life, he can't also counter a spell.
Yeah.
The only difference to that is if with this land, he might be able to play a 2-drop and maybe do that Spell Pierce. But aside from that, this Atarka's Command is doing a huge amount to threaten.
Plains is tapped.
Is doing a huge amount to threaten the the white. I'm not sure who's talking about the white Vand, but nonetheless, keeps him from that pressure, because that means that at the end step, even if Rolando doesn't gain life, he has got possibly, I think, a Singer Blaze, which isn't going to be excellent, but he has a Boros Charm, so you can do a Boros Charm to put Rolando down to 3.
Ooh, he's going to...
Or if Rolando tries to gain life, shut it down with the Atarka's Command.
Or if he tries to play the Verdict, he can just make all of his guys indestructible.
Which would be incredible.
Yeah. Or if he just plays the Verdict, he can say sure, and then 4 you and untap 3 you.
Boros Charm, the indestructible one, is certainly the second most underused, or the second most used ones, and not particularly fantastic.
No.
But actually seems to be... So it looks like Rolando did a pass, doing that in response. If Rolando has any number of life gain, this is the time to use it. I think the biggest issue is maybe the Spell Pierce is what he's considering.
Yeah, but the Spell Pierce will put him to 5, and I mean, if he wasn't dead on board before, he definitely is now.
Yeah. The problem is that he is very dead to the board. Do we have anyone playing Kiki Chord? Yes.
I believe we have 2 people playing Kiki Chord.
And they're really putting up
Actually,
numbers.
it might be 3.
So, yeah, we do have Kiki Chord. We do have Abzan Chord.
Yep.
I mean, I hate to do this to you, but you may have a chance, like, if you're looking for another match and unable to find one, would you be willing to maybe try and find...
an exhibition match?
Yeah, or, no, actually, just maybe assemble a list of the decks that you can see.
I will try to do that.
Maybe just use a back of some of that stuff. Okay. So, a Snapcaster Mage. Rolando down to 1, which is just an awful place to be. Snapcaster, I'm going to be blocking that.
And I believe you guys...
And, okay, yeah. Alright, so, anyone running Giftstron? I think we have a Bluetron, but no Giftstron.
Yeah.
So, that is the end of that particular one, and I will see you guys back in the booth. If you have those questions just before as I'm getting this stuff ready to go back up to us, put at Geek Fortress in your question, and I will do my best to address each of them before while Coleman is being an incredible help and find us another match. So I'll see you guys in the booth at Geek Fortress. So, Coleman is now leaving. Goodbye, Coleman. And we have got... okay, someone's asking, is anyone running Gifts Tron? I believe that we have a mono blue Tron, but not Gifts. Eddie Mardu at the shop. I know that we have someone who has been building something close to it, though I'm not sure if it's Rakdos or Mardu, but I do know that it is sometimes in existence, but I don't think it's caught on yet. Though, I have been watching that Mardu MTG subreddit, may end up putting one of those together at a certain time, because the deck looks sweet. I just don't compete that much. Do we have any Infect players? Do you switch to the deck after the twin banning? Yes. Actually, I am sometimes an Infect player. I have it put together, but that's not the best metric because I have a lot of decks put together. So, we do occasionally have them. One of them is a more strict blue-green one. We also have someone who does an interesting Bant version that slows itself down a lot and goes to run some more counter magic and things like that. Act as almost like a Infect tempo. So we do have 2 of those. Any fish? I'm not sure about tonight, but we do have fish players, and we will have them on Saturday. So if you want to watch on Saturday, we should definitely have Merfolk, but we might have Merfolk here tonight. What else have we got as far as questions? Is Abzan Chord better than Scapeshift, or is Abzan Coco better? I will make sure that he answers that question. What else do we have? Thoughts on the... Okay, perfect. So, Kiki Chord, yes, it's in the room. Abzan Company, yes, it's in the room. Death Shadow Aggro, fantastically sweet card. I am a big fan of Death Shadow. I've got one put together that's pretty sweet, so hopefully we can see some of those. I don't think any is in the store at the moment, but I'm seeing what I can do to encourage people about that. Affinity, yes, we do have Affinity players. That is actually my main competition deck. I lend that deck out a decent amount. Big fan of Affinity, always happy to talk about that. Anyone playing in Mono White Prison? If Michael is here, he's probably playing Death and Taxes. Other than that, we do have someone who sometimes plays Enduring Ideal. They're not here. And we have someone who does something called Birdman Alcatraz, which is like a bird control, which is a blue-white control, but I don't think that we have Prison here tonight. Let's see what else that we got. How important is it to buy fetches, or should you wait for Eternal? Probably buy fetches before rotation of cons. But fetches are probably at the lowest point that they will ever be. Eternal is likely not going to be reprinting, assuming that you mean the cons fetches. If you mean the Zendikar fetches, then it might be worth it to wait. They might be in there. But the cons fetches, the best time to buy the cons fetches is always yesterday. What do I consider the best modern deck right now? Objectively, probably the Eldrazi, unfortunately, just because of the deck's versatility and if you consider all of them as a single deck. However, I will long consider Affinity to be the most objectively powerful deck because of its huge versatility in its game plan, both having kind of that spear and also a swarm ability, and being able to change its game plan almost immediately, even within a single turn. So I think that Affinity is probably objectively has the most power, though it also is weak, has a bunch of weaknesses, which can be fairly easily exploited, especially in a prepared meta. Jund or Junk? I prefer Jund, mostly because it's running lightning bolts. If you can't tell, I really like the color red. However, I just prefer Jund in general right now. It's an aggressive meta, bolts surprisingly good, depending on how it goes, but I think that Jund being more proactive right now does make a definite benefit. Can we see Kiki Chord play? I will do my best. We usually end up with one of them on the stream. We've got lots of time. I'm definitely going to try and get them on there. When the cons fetches drop a few dollars after rotation, possibly, but that's okay. That's a decent point. I may have misspoke there. So certainly true, but still, I think the best time is always yesterday. Where are we located? We're located in Snohomish, Washington. That is in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. That's where you can find us. Hopefully you can come and hang out with us if you are somewhat local. And out of curiosity, what is my opinion on net decking? It's an argument in my friend group. I have nothing against net decking. I do it myself sometimes. Here's the thing about net decking. If you were... I consider it like this. If I wanted to go make a cake, if I wanted to bake a cake, what I would do is use someone else's recipe. That's it. I wouldn't want to go out and bake a cake and start from scratch with no idea of what I'm doing. And that's what net decking sometimes is. Now, there is a correct way and a wrong way. There's a right and wrong way to net deck. And one of them, the right way, is to find that net deck, to have an established deck, because why would you neglect the several hundred hours, sometimes thousands of hours that other people have put into a deck, you can't put that time kind of up. I can't put that kind of time up. So why would you neglect the experience of that many people? So you should take that, apply your own experience, and make tweaks to your own personal preference, and then to your meta. Taking a strict list, jamming it with no thought whatsoever, not as recommendable. It's doable, but you won't get the most mileage for what you're doing. So, the best way to do that is to find a list that you like, learn about it, find out why those cards are run, and then go about it that way. You want to play your Snapcasters and Clicks and Cryptics. What deck would you play right now with those cards? If I wanted to run Snapcasters, Clicks, and Cryptics, probably Blue Moon. That deck is super sweet. I'm not sure if they normally run Clicks right now, but I like Click. So probably Blue Moon is my preferred thing right there. The only other option to that one is Blue-White Control, which can be super duper cool, to Skeller. Let's see here. Grand. Okay. Let's see here. Blue is having a hard time in Modern. Yeah, so that is my opinion on net decking. I think that it is a very valuable tool, and I don't think that it's worth it to ignore other people's advice. If you think that you know more than a collective group that has spent hundreds of hours, you're probably wrong. You might be right, but you could be wrong. So, Night to Night, absolutely. I can sympathize with that. For a little bit of back history for people who may not know, I'm sorry, top 5 decks in the format. Probably, let's say, Eldrazi, Affinity, Burn, probably Kiki Chord, though there's a little bit of a stipulation in which you take a lot of practice to do that. And let's say Jund. Jund is probably really good right now. Any devotion decks there might be a mono-white kind of devotion, kind of Taxes deck in there. 6 words. What do I think Pauper will do in the next few months? Show up at the fort. Holla! Oh god, I can't believe I said that. My bad. But we're working on getting Pauper here. We might start streaming it. Might not. Depends on my schedule. Because as you can tell, I already stream like 16 hours a week on top of trying to work 40 hours a week and go to school some number of hours in the week. But if I can stream it, I will. Otherwise, we're going to try and get Pauper. Man, I'm talking fast. If I need to slow down, let me know. Otherwise, what have we got? Making your own deck is awesome. Just be aware that you're leaving free knowledge on the table when you do that. Yeah, pretty much. Here's my. My back history. I started about 6 years ago, and my first 3 years of Magic entirely were Commander, EDH. That's it. I learned with Commander. I learned with the Riku of Two Reflections deck, and then basically just went from there, brewing tons of decks for a while. I would make a deck every single week. And so there was all kinds of things going on. Eventually ended up playing in Theros Standard, which is where I began. I am all about brewing, and I like brewing decks. That's totally great. But I don't think that it's worth it to neglect the research of others. But I can respect that, because I really enjoyed Commander. I don't get a whole lot of opportunity to play it these days because of the time obligation. What do I go to school for? Currently finishing out the 2-year degree because I wasn't prepared to go to college back when I first tried, and so going back, and then I'm going to be trying to get one in urban design and community development, trying to be a city planner. I've been talking really fast. People are asking a bunch of questions.
I like it.
I know. Next modern deck is Green Devotion, Tooth and Nail. Good or nah? I like it a lot. Nyx Wave is a sweet deck. Has some basic weaknesses, but with blue being weak in the format right now is a good time to do it. Watch out for Thoughtseize.
Yep.
Tooth and Nail is a sweet card. What
Yes, it
else
definitely
have
is.
we got?
Anything I miss?
Oh yeah, there was a question. How do you feel about? Hold on, someone asked a question that was specifically for you, and it's about Abzan Chord compared to something else. If you can ask that guy, if you guys can ask Coleman that question again,
Yeah, please.
please
I
do.
definitely enjoy talking about company.
Okay. Is that Hubert? Oh no, who is Hubert?
Hubert?
Are you Hubert? No, this is
No?
Coleman. Oh, I didn't change our names.
Oh.
I forgot to change our names. That is what is happening here. Sorry about that. Fixed it.
There we go.
Okay. Have you got a list of the decks?
I do have a list of the decks.
Okay, so if you can get that question back for Coleman,
Yeah,
and
please.
let's read out what we have got.
All right. We actually have, I think, 14 unique decks.
14 out of 20? That's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not as high as we've gotten, but
think
I'll
so.
take it.
Or at least this is as many as I could get.
That's fair.
We have Abzan Control.
Yes.
Rug Delve without Delver. It's just
Love it.
Rug Delve spells.
Oh, okay, okay.
Allies. Green-White 8 Bears. Ghostway.
That's a sweet deck.
Nightfall.
Nightfall, very cool with the Retreat to Coil Helm,
Yep.
the Reliquary combo.
Jund.
Yep.
Mono Blue Tron.
Okay.
Blue-White Emeria with a splash of black for, I think, Thoughtseize.
He also does it for, interestingly enough, the one that lets you find a spell with flash for an instant.
Oh, I know what card you're talking
yeah.
Blue Moon and Eldrazi, which we saw.
Yes.
Burn, Blue-White Control, Naya Zoo, and then 3 copies of Kiki Chord.
3. So we do have 3 key cards. That's
Yep.
probably our highest repetition. I think you might have missed a couple just because they're
It's
done.
possible, yeah.
One big thing to note here is that Jund deck is entirely foiled out. It's
Yep.
always super sweet. So, someone is asking you, because you have played both decks, and also, yes, I'll try and get Ghostway as well as Abzan Control. Give us a quick rundown. Abzan Company versus Kiki Chord. How do you feel?
Oh, okay. Well, in general, I think Kiki Chord is more, in a sense, powerful because you get to play a lot more one-of answers that have higher impact because you aren't constrained by Collected Company.
Mm-hmm.
But Collected Company has the benefit of, well, playing Collected Company. And that card is just absurd.
Okay.
Also, you get to play a grindy mid-range value game and then just have an oops, I win button.
Definitely true.
To an extent, Kiki Chord can do that, and it's probably better at playing that that value game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is. Actually, I would say
Kiki probably has the higher ceiling in my mind.
Yeah, it does. Because there's a lot more lines because you have a lot different of a toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I would say Company is more consistent in the long game. Because you actually can... Because if you time it perfectly, the Company deck will win in that matchup. Because the Kiki Chord deck has to stop making tokens at some point.
Yeah. So here's my thought.
Sure.
To sum up my thoughts, because I'm trying to also answer some of these questions and talk to Dylan, so I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that Kiki Chord has a higher skill cap and is also a much better toolbox.
That's true.
I think that Abzan is a much more consistent with a much better game plan B.
Yes, that's definitely
I think
true.
it's a slightly worse plan A, but a much better plan B.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I'd sum it up personally. I would rather play Abzan Company because I don't have the time to put into Kiki Chord.
Yep.
But I think Kiki Chord is probably sweeter.
I think that's fair. That's fair. You definitely... I would say you need to put in a lot of time with both decks. But Company is more forgiving on new players.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can just go Bird, or I guess Seer, Malira, Kitchen Fangs, gain Infinite Life.
Certainly. All right, and also I'm letting the store owner know all those decks that you're requesting. So I'm trying to get him through into him what decks that we were requesting. So there we go. Woo! Man, I was talking really fast while you were gone. There was a bunch of questions. I tried to answer them. If I missed any, let me know at Geek Fortress in your question. I tried to answer as many as possible. I ended up talking very fast, but it looks like a bunch of people just joining us. My name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And we are streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. We do this 3 times a week. The schedule's down here. Those all times are all Pacific Standard Time. I really should attach that to the description of the schedule. But if you guys want to, be sure to hit that follow button. It looks like right now we are at 899. I need one. I need one. You guys would make my day there. But also, will it get hot in the closet in the summer? Honestly, I hadn't even thought of that yet.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
No kidding. I'll probably have to install a fan system. Also, my shirt has the fort on it.
Yeah, I don't...
It's okay. It is okay, but...
you guys also can't see my shirt, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Man, apparently I got all the questions, and I'm really happy to hear that. because I was concerned that people wouldn't even understand what I was saying. Oh!
Did we get 900?
I think we're at 900. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Oh.
And also, a quick note. During all that questiony goodness,
Yep.
I saw a lot of names that I haven't recognized before.
What's up?
And I just want to take a quick note. I know that I do this a lot, but it is something that I find very important for me to do, which is to thank all those people who are brand new to our chat. Because
Yeah, definitely.
I know that I say this a lot, and sometimes it gets a little bit sappy, but it is still very important to me in that this entire stream is as much a product of you as it is of us. Every single update that we've done since the beginning has been a product of that feedback, of us looking to improve, and partly us trying to impress you. I mean, that's...
Definitely.
That's what it is. Really, what I'm doing is trying to impress people that I don't know. And I'm okay with that. And we have got a round 3. So, let's get this round 3 ready to go. We have got Lauren on Ghostway versus Carl on Jund. It is not the shiny Jund, but still, Lauren on...
Are you available to talk within the next, 40 minutes?
No. Okay. And we have got Carl, who I believe I got his name right this time.
Yeah, there we
I
go.
apologize. The first time I had him on the stream, I got his last name wrong, and I feel bad about that. But round 3 about to begin. Let's get that timer ready. Jund versus Ghostway. Ghostway, a sweet deck.
Yep.
I can tell you what, I lost it in GP Vancouver last year in 2005.
Did you really?
I did. It was beautiful.
What is Ghostway? That is a very good question. We will answer that once we hit once we get to the match.
Okay. Ghostway, I can definitely bring that one up. Can we request matches to see on this camera? You can request decks. Unfortunately, these matches are entirely dependent on who gets matched up in the tournament. But I do let Dylan know, he is the game owner,
Yeah.
the store owner, when we try to, what we're looking to see. So, certainly I tried to do it. And, let's see what else we can do. Yeah, let's head on down and then we can talk more. Again, if I missed any questions, I can try and respond to them between rounds, between games, that kind of thing. Let's see you down there. Let's have fun. Forgot to update the life totals!
No, Carl's just gonna start on 0.
Dang it! I forgot the buttons. Okay. Does Carl mind if you call him? No, I think he prefers it, to be honest.
He genuinely does like it.
Yeah. So
You guys can't see this on stream, but his shirt does say hashtag Team
Ooh,
Carl.
This is not what I expected. Is this a different Carl? Hold on.
You have the names mixed up.
You're right. Sorry. That's it. Okay.
And I believe Lauren is on the Kiki Chord and not Ghostway.
Dylan sent me Ghostway.
Okay. So let's see what...
Is that who you saw running Ghostway?
No, the one I know running Ghostway is David.
Okay, then Lauren is probably on Abzan, especially with that Black Source. So I'm going to put Abzan Company.
Guarantee you she's not on Abzan.
Then that probably tells me that it's... Oh, no, because there's that red source.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So this probably is Kiki Chord. Let's assume that it's Kiki Chord. Okay, so we're going to assume that it's Kiki Chord. In the meantime, we'll update it to Ghostway if we need to. Sorry, I had those names on the wrong side. I am the worst. So,
that's Chords.
let's
That's
catch...
Restoration Angel, so I assume it's not Abzan.
Yep.
Yep.
So let's catch back up. Carl,
Okay.
playing 2 lands, a Bloodstained Mire, and an Overgrown Tomb, going for an Inquisition of Kozilek, ends up taking a Birds of Paradise out of the hand of Lauren, who also has a Wall of Roots, a Spellskite, and what appears to be a
Razorridge Thicket and a Plains.
Razorridge Thicket and a Plains. So, now that this... Probably, I would expect the Wall of Roots over this.
Yes, I would too.
You're not that worried about removal yet, so...
And if Carl wants to waste a removal spell on your Wall of Roots, that's just perfect.
Okay. So... Carl going for a fetch, possibly into a shock. Okay, no, not gonna go for a shock.
Well, he did get a shock, he just didn't actually deal 2 damage to himself.
Fair enough, certainly fair. Okay, whew. catching back up. Lorne on 2 lands, one of those a Razorrich Thicket and a Stomping Ground into a Wall of Roots. Wall of Roots an interesting card as we head back into Carl's turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up Wall of Roots for you guys to look at.
Wall of Roots is a very, very interesting card.
And then we will talk a little bit about what that card is able to do with Chord once you guys have an opportunity to read it. The main thing is that it's a 0/5 defender that you can put a -0, -1 counter on it to add green to your mana pool. The biggest thing that this deck is able to do, 2 things. 1, it blocks like a champ against the aggro decks.
It is incredible at blocking.
Second,
You don't realize how good it is at blocking until you have to attack through it.
second is that it taps twice for a Chord of Come.
Yep, it counts for 2.
Because
It doesn't
doesn't
tap twice.
but you're able to add a green to your mana pool and tap it for that Convoke.
Yep.
So Liliana of the Veil coming down for Carl after he plays a basic Forest and minusing that Lily to take down that Wall of Roots. Now just a Liliana of the Veil on the field with both players at 3 lands.
But Lauren does have Ghostway in her hand.
Okay.
So she might be on just an unconventional version of Kiki Chord, because that's definitely a Ghostway. Ghostway. I should say.
Okay, so this might be a Ghostway.
It might be a hybrid.
Let's call it Kiki Ghostway for now.
Okay. But so we could actually bring up Ghostway since it is most definitely in her hand.
Ghostway, a little bit of an interesting card. Didn't gain popularity until about, let's say, 14 months ago.
Yep,
Give
that's
or
about
take.
right.
Okay. And basically it removes each creature you control from the game and then returns it at the end of turn. This is an instant. Biggest thing that it does is a lot of enter the battlefield triggers. You can start chaining Eternal Witnesses to get back the Ghostways with Restoration Angels to start chaining them.
Yep.
I mean, you can start doing all kinds of crazy triggers with this deck. And so that's what you're looking to do. Get into the late game and then use things like Siege Rhino, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But actually discarding that to the Liliana of the Veil, and I think that's partly because of, doesn't have any of those enter the battlefield abilities at the moment. Doesn't want to save a card that doesn't have value at the moment.
Yep. Also, something pretty interesting about Ghostway, and I'm sure it's the reason why they designed the card, it will actually save all of your creatures from a board wipe.
Yes, it will. Okay, so Carl dropping down a Tarmogoyf down to 16, and that Tarmogoyf is a 4/5 because of creature, land, instant, and sorcery, and actually now a 5/6 because of that artifact from the Spellskite.
I think I would have aimed that, or tried to aim that Terminate at the Eternal Witness first.
Actually, I kind of disagree.
Because Carl has a Culligan's Command in his hand.
Oh, no, but see, I actually still disagree. Part of it is because if I'm Lorne, I would not have redirected it to the Spellskite. I would have let my Eternal Witness die, and I think that Carl needs to value that Spellskite more highly at the moment.
Well, the only reason I say that is because Lauren got back Ghostway, and now this card is essentially unkillable.
The Eternal Witness?
Yeah.
Possibly, or unless Lauren chooses to tap out, but that's unlikely with only having one more land in hand, so Lauren's off to a slow start anyway. That Tarmogoyf is going to be doing a whole lot of work on the ground.
Yeah.
And actually, that Eternal Witness probably going to block doing a Ghostway in response, and this is where we will see the Culligan's Command with a discard and a 2 damage.
Yes.
And that is going to be incredibly good.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very good.
So here's the Culligan's Command, pointing 1 at the player and 1 at the creature, taking that down. Culligan's Command, huge card here. Okay. Dang it, I missed it. I'm just gonna back out. Gonna go back in.
It's KO.
Oh, is it not KH?
No.
Whoops. I think I'm just thinking of something else, because I'm the worst. Alright, so Culligan's Command. Excellent thing, and Lauren now in a lot of trouble in top deck mode against a Liliana. This is exactly Jones' MO. This is what they want.
Revelaric off the top would be a very, very good card.
Yes. Okay. So...
Crucially, cannot cast the Sin Collector in her hand. So it's going to get discarded.
Yep. And that Liliana still plussing away, and ult eventually a threat. But I think the biggest thing is that any singular creature...
I would slam this Kalitas. And if I was locked into playing the Kalitas, I think I would have done it before plussing the Liliana, because then you miss out on a 2/2.
The Kalitas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's absolutely true. And part of that can come down to the fact that, like it or not, Kalitas is a new card. And so people are still getting used to playing it.
Yeah.
And as much as unfortunate as it is to say, these players aren't going to play perfectly, the fact is that we are at a local game store at a weekly event.
Yeah.
And so we can't always expect
Yeah,
perfection.
I don't expect perfection everywhere.
No, I'm just trying to...
I don't even play perfect every time.
I could have told you that.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Walked into that one.
Okay, so, Hippie Pancake, why don't we stream standard on Mondays? There's 2 reasons for that. One is that time for me is in a low commodity.
Yep.
Between the 16 hours of streaming, the 40 hours of work, plus the, 20 hours of school, it's a hot commodity right now. But, certainly... It's something that if Standard becomes more interesting with Shadows over Innistrad coming out...
Also, Standard's kind of boring right now.
No offense to the Standard players, but it's not the best format at the moment.
Yeah, Standard's kind of boring.
But, it's a possibility down the line. The other reason, which is actually a bit more of a reason, is that everybody on Twitch is doing Standard and Draft, from what I've noticed. And so... I like being able to provide the things that people don't have readily available. That Modern, Legacy. Those are the 2 formats that are so cool and so deep and, don't have a whole lot of coverage outside of the large tournaments, which even then, not nearly as much as you have your, Draft and Standard. So those are the reasons why we tend to focus on these 2. We are trying to get Popper in at this store. I might stream it occasionally, but again, time certainly consideration. For Gaimon tags... because then we would lose our stream.
Yeah, that is against the rules of Twitch, unfortunately.
Exactly. And what new cards do we hope to see printed in Shadows over Innistrad? Well, let's talk about the new Tybalt.
Which is definitely coming.
Have you met Tybalt? So, Tybalt, fantastic card. I expect there to be a brand new one, and one that I hope... Actually, now Ghost Quarter is one that I'm hoping for, that I didn't even realize how much I wanted it.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, really... exciting it. And then the other one that I'm kind of hoping for is a Blood Moon. I know that that's not going to happen.
No.
But I'm always down for more Blood Moon.
Yep.
So, did I eat a Tybalt yet? No. We have not gotten to 5. Where did they get this jelly? Oh, man. Certainly. Oh, man. After the next game, remind me. I'll tell you guys what happens after we get to 500 views to all the new viewers.
Yep.
And also, be sure to hit that follow button. So, we are getting ready for Game 2 here. I'm pretty excited.
Oh, I'm definitely excited.
This is a pretty interesting matchup. Jund has the advantage of this hand disruption against a deck that at times can operate a bit like a combo deck.
Yep.
And also as a little bit of a slow start. The other thing, however, is that Lauren has a huge amount of value in each of her creatures that might be able to outground Jund.
Yep, this kind of reminds me of actually the Company versus Jund matchup, which is actually pretty favored with Company because all of the cards are walking 2-for-1s.
Mm-hmm. And to wait, follow me, I will do my best to answer that. Again, between rounds is when we can kind of get more in-depth. So, a Razor Verge Thicket from Lauren, and doesn't look like a turn 1 play, so a little bit of a slow start. Okay, and we have got a turn 1 Inquisition off of an Overgrown Tomb. We see a Wall of Omens, Eternal Witness, and 3 lands going for that Wall of Omens.
Carl must have another discard spell in his hand, which...
Very likely, but also just prioritizing that one that's the removal. Not a bad idea, because it has almost a false tempo of keeping 2 turns negligible, to where no turn 1, no turn 2, you're already at a disadvantage. So, let's talk about a bit about the Kiki Ghostway. So, as I'm talking it, if you could try and fill some space, start initially with the Restoration Angel Kiki combo, and if you could just try and jump in kind of in between turns. So, I'm going to talk a bit about Carl's turn, and then if you want to jump in there.
Okay.
And you can explain that, and then we'll talk about Ghostway a bit.
Okay.
So, we have got from Carl putting in a... So, go for it.
Alright, so the Kiki Jiki Restoration Angel combo, because it is a combo, is basically you go infinite with Restoration Angel, because when Kiki Jiki is a 5-mana 2/2 that taps to put a copy of target non-legendary creature into play, as you can see in the chat, that token has haste, and then you sacrifice it at the beginning of the next upkeep. So you make a copy of Restoration Angel. And what Restoration Angel does is that when that enters the battlefield, you exile a creature, and then it comes back into play. Critically, it'll come in, you play that, you target Kiki Jiki, you blink that, it comes back into play untapped, And then you repeat this process until you have as many Restoration Angels as you want that all have haste, and then you attack your opponent for 1 billion.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what that is there. Now, let's talk about why they would run Ghostway.
So, Ghostway is just a sweet card. And more people should be playing this. But
I might take it over for a quick moment.
that's fine.
So Lauren heading... Sorry, I'm going to take over for a quick moment, then he can get back into it. Lauren heading into her third turn and just a pass, so go for it.
All right. Now, the reason to play Ghostway is because you'd want to play... you'd want to have Eternal Witness to blink all of your creatures to get even more value from them, which apparently is a thing that people need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know something that's in Lauren's deck that I guarantee Carl doesn't, which she might have brought it out for this matchup, I'm not sure, but she has access to Stonehorn Dignitary. And when Stonehorn Dignitary comes into play, you target an opponent, and they skip their next combat.
That's excellent. So, a Restoration Angel coming in, flickering the Birds of Paradise and then sacking that Birds of Paradise to the Liliana of the Veil that Carl just dropped.
Yep.
So that Liliana coming in, doing a -2 to make Lauren sacrifice a creature. And then, looks like playing in a Courser of Crufix with a Ghostway right
the
on
Ghostway
top.
on top.
Okay. Oh, were you saying Ghostaway?
Oh, was I saying Ghostway? I'm sorry, I totally meant Ghostway.
Yep. Okay. So, plays another land and then just a pass back. Both players at 17 currently. So, Carl heading into their next turn. That Liliana dying to the Restoration Angel.
Yep.
Has another Liliana in hand, and I think might be debating to play that, but looks like holding it back, maybe a Cold Guns Command in hand, or some other, maybe an Abrupt Decay and Terminate, also kind of options, but
Yep.
looking at an instant speed kind of thing, I'd be highly surprised if Carl didn't have some sort of play to make, just because of the deck is very proactive, and it going an entire turn without doing something is not common.
Yeah, but because you know that Lauren has drawn Ghostway.
Yes.
So it's going to make all of your removal spells worse.
Definitely. And
So I think I would have liked to have seen that Abrupt Decay drawn before she drew the Ghostway.
Yeah, and it could be that I forgot our inexperience against the card, and it could be that maybe there's a backup plan of maybe trying to bait out the Ghostway and then respond to it that way. But
Maybe.
it's certainly an interesting decision to pass. But I guess it is technically, there's certainly the possibility that exists. Now, this would be the time to go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This Eternal Witness coming in gives you the opportunity. If you have a Terminate and Abrupt Decay, this is the time to use it.
Yeah.
The only issue with this is that whichever one of them that you hit is going to be going back to their hand in an interesting twist of fate. And instead...
Oh, it's 2 Abrupt Decays?
So in response to the trigger, going to be going for those, which I think is actually pretty nice. Not able to take down the Restoration Angel, and it looks like... Did they pick...
It looks like Carl or Lauren didn't attack.
Yeah, and there's a minus to take down the Restoration Angel. A really solid play by Carl with patience there.
Okay. Thought that was a Dark Confidant for a second. We had an issue.
Okay, so looks like a Windswept Heath along with 4 other lands from Lauren. Most of those colors have currently been achieved with at least 2 of each available, with the biggest amount being green and red at the moment. Okay, so we have got the witness. I think the Witness trigger went for the Windswept Heath.
Yep, I believe so.
So I think it went for the land, and I think that was a really cool thing by Carl to wait until that trigger was decided before going for it.
Yeah. I just want to point out something in the chat there. The new Ghostway in Shadows is not just strictly better because the new one targets. Ghostway doesn't target.
Which, not super relevant.
No, but it is relevant sometimes.
I'm not sure if I would probably still call it strictly better. Is it still 3 mana in an instant?
I believe so.
Then that would probably be strictly better, but it would have its definitely niche cases.
Yeah. You cannot blink a creature with Shroud with the new one.
Or Phantasmal Image.
Or Phantasmal Image.
And I think that might be the most relevant one.
Yep.
Okay. So, Lauren going for a search with that Windswept Heath. And going to be just going for a basic Plains as well as a basic Forest with those 2 fetches.
Yep, that is snow-covered forest, though.
So this... That's true. So this Liliana, if this doesn't die this turn, is going to start taking over the game. Lauren only has 2 cards in the hand, doesn't have a whole lot of ways to draw cards.
One of them is a Chord.
And this Chord, what are you expecting? This is a Chord for 3, probably an Eternal Witness?
Probably Eternal Witness. I think she's probably trying to set up Eternal Witness Ghostway.
And actually just going for the Chord.
Yeah, that's about right. Well, the last card in her hand is Ghostway.
Is it? Okay.
So,
and at a certain point, Chord can at least,
yeah,
get you to the win if Carl ends up running out of removal and disruption. But I think I might see an Abrupt again with the hand there.
Yeah, if I was Lauren, I would have loved to have... I don't think I would have done this on my main phase.
And gone for the end step to maybe bring back something that you discarded.
Yeah.
Or, you have a lot of options.
Yeah.
But just in the interest of less information...
Oh, no, you have to do it on your main phase because there's Scavenging Ooze in play. Right.
That's a great point.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Never mind.
So there's a swing for 2. And it looks like exiling the Restoration Angel to gain a life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's going to be a hit for 3. Lauren going down to 13, and Carl going up to 17. I think I might have just missed a life loss there. It's certainly possible.
Yep.
Okay. So, we have got a Scavenging Ooze with a single +1/+1 counter. We have got a Liliana of the Veil that is now at 2. Do you think that this Eternal Witness is just going to be going to kill the Liliana of the Veil?
It's certainly what I would do, because it doesn't look like you're going to block.
And I think at that point, I would have preferred to see the Scavenging Ooze not attack.
Yeah.
With Lauren so low on those cards in hand, I don't think that you're in a huge position of having to apply pressure yet. And I think protecting that Liliana and keeping that top deck mode very much alive, I think I would have preferred that. Because if this Eternal Witness takes that down, that's a huge amount of value lost. Okay. Norseman's been watching our stream long enough to know snakes on a plane.
Hey.
Oh, I missed that deck. Alright, so a Wall of Roots coming in for Lauren. That leaves a Wall of Roots and an Eternal Witness. Again, not an overly commanding board. Now, an interesting part is that Wall of Omens is Chord... I'm sorry, that Wall of Roots is Chord neutral. Next turn, you are going to be at almost the exact same state that you were previously, because now the 2 mana that you put into it is able to become 2 mana for a Chord. However...
That would be...
This is,
I don't think I would have... This is not where I would use this Terminate, because Lauren can just search up a Restoration Angel and blink it.
On that, definitely can.
Because that's 7 total mana.
Certainly can, and because Summoning Sickness doesn't actually apply to that.
Yeah.
Now the weirdest thing is, why did he not attack?
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why there was no attack here.
Yeah, I would have expected Lauren to attack there. She certainly didn't have a whole lot of downside to attacking.
No.
Except, I think the biggest reason is to go for that Restoration Angel.
Yes. I think getting a Liliana off the field is better than a Restoration Angel.
I could probably agree with that, and it looks like we might be seeing that.
Could also be a P and Kieran, which would also be pretty good.
A P and Kieran Noir would be excellent, but I doubt that they would have. Yeah, she definitely could have done that in response.
She actually, if she blinks the Ewet, the Scavenging Ooze will just eat the Chord.
Yeah, definitely does have green mana.
Yeah, with the Overgrown Tune untapped.
Quick Roar mentioning it.
Yep.
Okay, so... Otherwise, certainly a lot of really cool options there.
Like, yeah, a Linvala.
Interesting.
That's...
So, let's go ahead and bring up Linvala, and we'll probably see that Scavenging Ooze activate in response. But losing that Wall of Omens, Linvala coming down... very interesting choice. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. Just hitting Scavenging Ooze here, but I think that means that Lauren has the same mentality that if she's able to get this Chord of Calling, never mind. So this is getting pretty difficult here.
Yep. Yep.
but that would be pretty curious. A Chord right now does give the option of a decent amount of things.
Yeah, Chord for 3. So, I mean...
But a Lily going for a minus to take down the Linvala
Yeah.
because it was still alive. After the Bolt goes for the Eternal Witness.
Yeah.
And that Scavenging is able to start eating some of those creatures again. I really liked that game plan by Lorne, but I just don't think that it came together as nicely as it could have.
No, I don't think so either.
And I really think that...
Yeah.
Yep, and just picking that up because there's
she's
pretty
just dead.
close to a kill on board next turn.
Yep.
An Eternal Witness wouldn't have done a whole lot.
No.
Pretty unfortunate to see that happen. So, that actually gives us a game to win to Carl, and we can try to get... Are you prepared to be amazing for me again?
I will try.
Excellent. So, for those of you who have got questions, I'm going to be back in the booth again. While you're out there, could you grab me a generic brand of beverage to drink? Because all this talking is getting to me. So, if you can grab me something to drink, I would really appreciate it. It's mostly just the throat. So, let's go back to the booth. If you've got a question, just put at Geek Fortress. I will do my best to answer all of them in a timely manner, as long as it is not super in-depth, in which case I'll do my best.
Yeah.
So I'll see you guys soon. Hello, and thank you for joining. It looks like there's a whole lot of you here, and I cannot express to you how excited I am that this is continuing to grow. So, as I'm waiting for some of those questions, I have a quick question for you. If you're brand new and you haven't told me yet, or if you're just brand new to this one, please, and I know that this might be a little bit inconvenient, so if it is convenient, let me know how you found us. I'm going to guess that most of you respond that you found us via the Twitch page and just looking up Magic. But, I dropped something. Sorry. But, I imagine that some of you may have found us through Reddit, or possibly Facebook, or maybe Twitter, or anything like that. And if you could let me know, then that would be excellent, just because it gives me a lot of information for what is actually working. Alright, so, what decks do we have there tonight? We have a decent amount of decks. We've got, I think, at least 14 or 15 different decks with about 20 decks in the room. I know that we've got about 3 Kiki Chord players, and I think that's our highest density deck, but otherwise, mostly a variety of decks. We have got Burn, a Delve deck with no Delvers, it's just a Rug Delve deck. We've got some blue-white control, some Emeria control, apparently 2 Ghostway decks, some Jund, Burn, Bogles. What else have we got? We have 1 Eldrazi deck, a Blue Moon deck. There is 1, I believe, Infect deck out there. We have got Nightfall out there. Man, a whole lot of things. Coleman has the list, so we will do our best to try to get that. But I keep seeing a lot of people who are brand new. So, please hit that follow button. I'd love it. Hopefully we are providing a product that you enjoy, and if you do enjoy it, let us know. Through either on Twitter, you can find me at RedBaronMTG. On Reddit, there's a couple posts on Magic TCG or Modern Magic. My username's RedBaronMTG. Let me know there. Otherwise, do we think that Blue-White Control is better positioned than Blue-White-Red right now? I think yes, because it's just more consistent.
I think so as well.
Coleman is back. Do we have another match?
We do, actually.
Excellent. I'm going to answer this one really quick. What do we think of the Pauper format? I like it. I have not explored it very much. I know almost nothing about it, but I'm doing research. Because this summer, we are going to be trying to debut Pauper, thank you, generic brand beverage, but we are going to be doing our best to actually start doing Pauper in the store this summer. We're working on starting to build the hype around it so that when we do it, we can just unveil it. It's already successful.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So we're trying to do that, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to stream it or not. It really depends on my schedule at the time.
Yeah.
If I can, I will, and if I can't, then I'm going to try and do weekend events every now and then. That should be fun.
Yep, and we actually do have one going on. It is Patrick against Peter.
And who is on which side?
I believe Peter is on the wall.
Peter is on the wall. This is the foiled out Jund deck, everybody. Yep. So this is Jund going up against Abzan Midrange.
Yep, this for the people who wanted the mid-range mirror. Here we go.
And is this game 3?
This is game 2, and Patrick is up again.
Excellent, as to be expected. So, let's head on down to the match. Abzan versus Jund. Ready? Fight. And to Wait, Follow Me, it is absolutely my pleasure. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to go more in-depth into that. Sometime between rounds, I can certainly do my best.
Yep.
Okay. So we have got a Dark Confidant from Peter starting it off. That's going to be an excellent
Casual
source.
Judge Foil Confidant.
A casual one.
Yeah.
This entire deck on the right is going to be foiled out, and that Dark Confidant, if Patrick doesn't remove it now, is going to be a huge source of advantage for Peter.
Not to be outdone, Patrick, with the Expedition Windswept Teeth.
Naturally. So, Patrick, the biggest thing between this match is that Abzan has an advantage mostly because of Lingering Souls more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
Both of them, and also just the path that Patrick has access to is able to hit the Tarmogoyf that Peter is not.
Yeah.
But they both have a huge amount of similar tools, and I think what it comes down to, and I'm not sure what's happening with this Kalidas here. Not quite sure.
That should not be how they sequence it.
Do you know what just happened?
I believe he pathed on the upkeep. So the path should have resolved first.
Could you ask them really
Yeah.
quick? Just
Guys, I assume that's a path on the upkeep?
What?
Path on the upkeep?
Yeah.
The path should have resolved first. Before the Bob trigger.
Oh, right, because triggers at your
Active player on...
Yeah, because it triggers automatically at the start of the
Yeah.
and then I pass.
I mean, it could have happened at the end. Like,
I can do it to respond.
it could have happened
That's
after.
fine. Just for the future, make sure you guys play a little bit
No,
better.
because it could have resolved either way.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Just...
Well, I mean, they could have waited until the trigger resolved
Yeah,
and then done it
yeah,
at the end.
that's fine.
You guys are good.
You guys are fine, but just want to make sure what's going on.
Okay. I think they let the Dark Confidant trigger
Yeah.
resolve and
Yep,
then went.
then
for
they
path.
went for the path. Yep.
Okay. At least I think he revealed it and then did it. Regardless.
It's fine.
gotta
The
figure
land
out.
comes into play time. That's what matters.
So we have got a
Oh, and there's
dark.
backup Bob anyway.
Of course, a Dark Confidant going there. Patrick now fetching with his Expedition Windswept Heath, and let's see what happens. Also, wait, follow me. We do agree. Paper Magic is more fun than MTGO.
I definitely agree with that.
So, what have we got here? Looks like just going for the land tapped, maybe just preparing for it. So, just 2 mana, playing down that Overgrown Tomb from Peter's side, tapped, but now at a pretty clear mana advantage. Kooky, that's very much possibility, but it's hard for us to enforce a huge amount of rules from In This Closet when it's a
Yeah.
casual REL. So
Yeah.
it's kind of happened, and we let him know. So what have we got?
I think this is going to be a Fulminator Mage.
He does have access to it because of that double black, and a Fulminator Mage probably going to be going for, maybe the red-white one, maybe a Black Cliff Cliffs, or a...
I think I'd go after that Overgrown Tomb.
Would you?
Yep.
Okay, because I think I would actually prefer taking off double red than double green.
It's possible.
Because double red gives Peter, like, P and Kira Nalar, things like that, and double green is really just a number of spells, but there's
That's
not a
true.
whole lot of double green spells. So I think I would rather cut them off of the double red, which might make some things uncastable. But Patrick agrees with you
Yeah.
in the end.
Also, what's up, Trilmer?
Yeah, Trilmer is a classic, so welcome.
What's up?
Happy to have you. Okay, so this Dark Confidant starting to get a decent amount of work in, and now that it is actually drawing those cards,
Yeah.
this is a big advantage for Peter.
Yeah,
in this,
definitely.
so both players close to a similarity in boards.
True to form, Peter's got the backup Overgrown Tomb.
Oh, naturally.
Yep.
And there goes the Kalidas that we did see earlier on. That Kalidas, incredible
Yeah,
card.
It's
I think-
going to be very good.
I think the biggest reason why we didn't see that card run early on in Peter's deck is because he hadn't acquired foils yet.
It's very possible.
Okay. Gotcha. I can answer that. The chat might be able to answer that, but also ask me again between rounds. I can answer that in a lot more depth.
Yep.
So a Kalidas on the battlefield. It is a lifelink 3/4 that if a non-token creature gets, or if it would die, it instead gets exiled, and you get a 2/2 zombie on the battlefield.
Yep.
Excellent.
It is very, very good against Kitchen Finks and everything that would want to die. It is one of the best cards for Jund to have against company. I am not happy that it got printed. I'm not biased at all.
Okay, so now we have got Patrick getting up to his 4th land after giving Peter a little bit of an advantage, even though Peter maybe not. I think he missed a land drop at one point. And we can try and get their records.
I actually know what their records are already. They're both 1-1.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Damnation is a very good draw here.
Damnation is an excellent card. One of those really good iconic cards that is very much within the mid-range strategy of profitable trades that are sometimes more than 1-for-1. You want 1-for-1s and sometimes 2-for-1s.
I think that Goyf should be a 3/4 if I'm counting it right.
That is a 4/5. So we've got creature, land, instant sorcery.
Yep, 4/5.
Yep, that is a 4/5. And if we end up seeing a planeswalker, then that is going to be a 5/6. Peter landing the Tarmogoyf first, definitely an excellent place to be.
Yeah, definitely.
If Patrick isn't able to follow up with his own threat, then he's in a little bit of trouble. This Kalita's going away, the Dark Confidant going away. These are all things that are really nice, but eventually this Abzan player needs to start applying his own pressure.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
he's been on the back foot almost this entire match.
Oh, Goyf is a good way to start.
And that's the way to do it, certainly. And followed by a Kitchen Finks. So right as I say that he needs to start making a move, he does. And this is exactly what we could have hoped for here. That's a 3/2 that is going to be an excellent blocker or attacker. Grinds out a lot of value to, that 1-for-1. This eliminates almost every 1-for-1 possible.
And there's no longer a Kalitas in play.
And
so it's not going to be as bad.
Yeah, and that Abrupt Decay can be going for the Tarmogoyf, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Because if you can make sure that you're the only player with a Tarmogoyf, that creature outclasses so many other creatures. Yeah. This Kitchen Finks is going to be a nice value to gain 2 life and act as a blocker, but that's only going to last for so long.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it doesn't sound like the most in-depth strategy guide ever, but keep swinging till they're dead is a good strategy.
That's not a bad strategy.
I know that I subscribe to it fairly often.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes it's go to the red zone.
Okay. And we have got a gain of 2. Patrick going up to 18, doing that block with the Kitchen Finks.
Yep.
Certainly not in a great position to be racing, which is excellent.
Yeah. I do like the respecting the board state.
Yeah. Your 3 is
be
not
realistic about your board states.
So buying time, trying to get into some of those Lingering Souls, things like that, that's a great way to start applying this. And if he can, a Lingering Souls right now would be incredible.
A Gavany Township right now would also be very good.
A Gavany Township would be excellent. Peter does have a Terminate in hand that he can use. One thing that I know that he runs sometimes, by the way, is also a very sweet one of Jund Charm in the main, which is the sweetest thing possible.
I've been blown out by that card a fair number.
Okay, so Patrick's still not going with his current turn. I think they might be doing a judge call at the moment, but looks like actually just passing the turn back to Peter. I think I at least heard Dylan over there as a judge. So Peter has another land and so continuing to block just as well. Not going to be gaining any life, but buying himself time.
Yep.
Which is not a bad way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you get to the later turns, and as the deck goes later, I'm pretty sure I would take Abzan.
While they are both very much in desire of being in top deck mode, Jund is all about proactive 1-for-1s, where mid-range Abzan almost has a decent amount of 2-for-1s going into white.
Definitely.
In Lingering Souls, Kitchen Finks. Even you could almost consider Siege Rhino to be somewhat of a 2-for-1 because you get its effect to where even then...
Because Siege Rhino just has to be even that much better.
At least it's got ETB.
Yep.
If nothing else. But it does have a lot of that ability to where when they're talking about top decking, I think Abzan is going to run into more 2-for-1 cards than Peter is, which he has access to Kolaghan's Command, and maybe P and Kieran Nalar, and some of those cards, and those are going to be good, but I favor Abzan when it gets to that position. Okay. So
Jump blocking at 18 life. Sometimes you gotta do it.
sometimes you gotta do it. And Don Burrow, and there's so many people here who are brand new, and welcome to all of you. It's hard for me to name you all because there's so many, and I'm not complaining.
Yeah. The more people that show up, the more confused I get. It's great.
Yeah. Hopefully part of this is because of the Reddit post. I'm hoping that starts bringing people in. I'm trying not to flood Reddit with posts like every week. So I'm trying monthly. I might move it up if they're just having no effectiveness. Also, if you guys have feedback on that, let me know on what frequency that I should be posting to Reddit.
Oh, there's Lingering Souls.
So there's our Lingering Souls, which is going to be...
I would assume it's going to get flashbacked here.
There's
actually,
one reason why not to, and that's
actually, I
to
don't
respect the Jund Charm, the maybe removal, the
Also,
damnation that Peter might have.
Maybe even Golgari Charm. But that might be a little bit of wishful thinking. Right, he's just looking for some spirits here.
Okay. So, also, just a quick note on the zombie deck. Synergy decks are notoriously difficult to do.
Yeah.
So make sure that what you're building isn't a worse merfolk. If you can approach it in a way that approaches in a unique fashion, you are going to be doing a critical mass deck. Definitely try and go into that. Don't think Peter has any board wipes. I know that he has some, at least in the sideboard, and we are in a game 2 right now.
Yep.
So between Jund Charm, Damnation in the sideboard, and also I think he has Anger of the Gods, which likely didn't come in, but it could have as an answer to these.
Here's Golgari Charm.
And there is the other reason not to
It's
flash
about
back.
the only way to 1-for-1 on Lingering Souls.
And also almost, I mean, at that point you're even beating the mana cost, which is excellent.
Yeah. You spent 5 mana for this, I'm going to spend 2 mana to wipe your board.
Okay, so another swing for 4, and Seraph, that is possible that he made some changes, so I apologize, and I will assume that he may not be running him.
Yeah.
He's at least running Golgari Charm, so...
Yep. I'm going to assume it's something similar to the list that he had at the last GPT.
Yeah, and that one did have some number of... Alright, so Peter looks like going for 3, going to be dropping...
It's like a Liliana. Captain Liliana. That's interesting.
You know, I like, actually, that... Only because I guess one of them needs to keep it in, and Peter being on the play probably puts him in that position of wanting to keep it in. It really feels like a card that you want to be the one to land it first, and being on the play gives it the chance. So I might expect him to board it out in a game, in a game in which he's on the draw.
Okay, yeah.
But the card is not bad, and he might just, because the removal ability of it is going to help out a lot, especially since he was able to take down that Lingering Souls.
Okay. I think if I was Peter, I would not have ghost quartered there, but I'm a little greedy because the Liliana wasn't gonna die, and you also lose out on 1 more mana, which might be relevant if you get to 2 spell a turn territory.
All right. You know,
although with the Huntmaster in his hand, doesn't look like it's going to come back to bite him. But since the Sunmaster is now in play, it looks like it's going to dominate an empty board. Saying, Patrick
picking up the cards.
Yeah.
So recognizing that the clock is a little bit of a factor and hoping to take a game 3. So picking up the cards in what might be an insurmountable board, looking to move in on the play.
He used probably his only 1 damnation.
It's very likely. And Huntmaster of the Fells is talking about the card to have. That's it.
Yeah.
That is a very, very powerful card. So, it looks like some people having a bit... Oh, a couple of you guys said that Twitch is your cable provider. Excellent. Make sure you follow this channel. I know that I keep saying it, but I cannot appreciate all of you who do that enough. It looks like we are actually over 900, which is huge. I know. Remind me, I forgot to do it last time. At the end of this game, this one will be between rounds. Ask me what happens when we get to 500 viewers, because it's fun. And I believe that you've added something.
I've added something, yeah.
And I'm not going to let you forget that, because they didn't let me forget mine.
That's fair. Like I said, it may happen before then. I'm not sure yet.
So we have got a lot of fun things. Hopefully you guys can be a part of getting us to that 500 viewers, because that's a benchmark that I've set myself for the new year, hoping to get to it before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Hopefully sooner rather than later, just for the purposes of being ambitious and hopeful and, being me. But, well, okay, sure, if Quickrow is just going to spoil it. I just wanted to... Actually, I don't particularly care. We'll just talk about it, but we've got a bunch of things and we can go into a bit more elaboration about it. But it is going to be a whole lot of fun.
I guarantee you he doesn't know what I'm going to do, though.
It's true. You only mentioned it once.
Yep.
Okay. In the long term, is it worth building towards Kiki Chord? Yes.
Definitely.
In fact, I would say only in the long term is it worth building towards Kiki Chord. To be perfectly honest, it is a deck that you should probably proxy up, playtest card up, and start playtesting, because it's an extremely powerful deck, and I would highly recommend watching Jeff Hoogland streams, because
definitely
that deck is insanely. It has a very high skill ceiling and a very high floor.
Yeah.
So it will take a lot of getting used to, and you will make bad plays, and that's going to be part of that.
Don't get discouraged because you didn't find the one line out of 75 to kill them that turn.
Yeah.
Just know that line was there for next time.
And Kiki, thank you very much. It's certainly something that I know that I've developed a huge amount of pride in just what we're able to put out. Certainly, we can't do this alone. I have a huge host of co-hosts who are amazing and make it so that
Hosts of co-hosts.
Hosts of co-hosts. They're really putting up numbers, but
so many up numbers.
But between that and the people who are able to help me with the technical stuff, like when I broke it just before the stream, and Peter, who was actually on stream on the right, and then David, who was made this layout, both of them were sitting back here. So I was like, please, and they're both sitting here doing their like amazing computer stuff to where they had it like pulled up with like the command prompts and all that.
Oh wow, they went into the actual programming.
Yeah, they were doing some sweet things, and they managed to put it together and get me back up and running. And I mean, even Dylan, who is letting me take over his entire storage closet. So certainly we can't do it alone, and I don't want to be the one taking credit entirely.
Yeah.
I'll take credit for the amount of time that I do, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm entertaining.
Well, let's.
I don't know. You keep tuning in. So.
That's true. I do keep tuning in. But I guess that might be just because I have more power in the chat room than I do anywhere else.
No kidding. Okay, so Siege Rhino, top 3 decks when the Eldrazi get banned. That's one of those questions that we would be better addressing between rounds.
Yeah.
So Patrick looking at a 6, Peter keeping his 7.
Yep.
Are you the co-host that was going to draw a playmat?
I think that was Joe.
That was Joe.
That was Joe.
Oh my god, at 500 we are going to be doing so many things.
We might have to create a full separate stream for just the 500s.
Welcome to the 500s. That sounds like the worst thing.
No, it sounds like a sorority, or no, it'd be a fraternity. That'd be a fraternity. Welcome to the 500s. This is our special induction ceremony.
Nice. So, Patrick lining up his mana base with a forest and then a godless shrine.
The old 0/1 Goyf.
Yes.
You don't see that very often.
Now, Peter gets an option now to...
If he has a lightning bolt, now would be the only time you would want a bolt.
Yeah, pretty much. And we are
now
going for a fetch. Now, granted, a bolt still going to work.
Oh, yeah. This bolt's still going to work.
Yep, so we are looking at a 1/2 Tarmogoyf going for it, and I'm expecting... Okay, so the fact that he didn't go for a green signals either that he does have the green land in hand, or he is intending to use the bolt. And I think because he is shocking it in, I think we can expect there to be a bolt on this at the end of the turn.
I would not... Yeah.
So, a Judge promo Bolt taking down that Tarmogoyf. Certainly excellent. And
Oh, it's
so
a Dark Confidant here?
and actually his own Tarmogoyf.
just a backup Goyf.
And Patrick, I mean, basically any removal that he uses is going to have to point at it. And the fact that there's now a Bolt and a Tarmogoyf puts it up to a 3/4.
That's true.
So a lot of that, I mean, all of Patrick's removal is going to be able to hit it, but it does put them outside of Bolt range. So Peter did a really solid choice to Bolt.
I would imagine Peter said, "Oh, you're going to play a 0/1 Goyf? I'm going to play a 3/4 Goyf."
On the same...
On
on my turn.
on my turn.
Yeah. Definitely, both turn 2, maybe a little bit of a disparity in the fairness there. Okay. So, Peter, I'm not quite sure what he's looking to do okay, so
Looks
Patrick...
like a Liliana, actually, which the Liliana minus here is going to be very good.
Yeah, going down to 19, probably deciding what kind of land that they want to go for, and I'm expecting to actually go for possibly, I don't expect another Godless Shrine, but...
I would expect an Overgrown too.
See, I have to agree, getting that double green allows for a lot of the various removal. Actually, just going for a
Basic
basic
Swamp. Huh.
Interesting.
Might have the Overgrown Tomb in his hand, but in that case, I don't think I would have fetched.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit like an interesting choice.
I think he might be a little overcautious with his life total.
Maybe, and it's not really a bad idea because
no.
if Jones starts getting aggressive, then that's a great
You
one.
are the mid-range deck that doesn't have access to Bolt.
Okay. Have we seen... Oh,
Yes.
we have seen the taste of Coco.
Yeah.
He's very excited.
Yeah.
Again, between rounds. And we have a Liliana hitting the battlefield. I'm very much expecting a minus
I
ability.
can't see anything of it. Yeah, okay.
So there is the minus. Peter now losing his Tarmogoyf, and now Liliana on the field. That's a really solid place to be. So Peter has a couple options, and one of them is I would prioritize getting rid of that card, that Liliana.
Yeah. Definitely. If you have a Pulse or a Bolt here, just get rid of the Liliana. It's going to cause way more trouble if it sticks around.
Yeah, and knowing how Peter works, most likely he's going to maybe bolt it and play Dark Confidant. Something
probably
excellent like that.
Yeah. Or just play like
And actually, a
just
Fulminator
going
Mage?
straight after the lands.
Okay, and maybe this is why we saw him going for that basic, but actually with Patrick only plussing and ends up having plenty of
right.
lands, so it just sets him back a turn more than anything. Not the worst case scenario, but definitely a setback.
Yeah.
Because now your mana base is a little bit messed up.
It does take him off white too.
It takes him off of white, at least for the meantime, and if one of those isn't a fetch, or maybe not a white land, I wasn't able to get a full view of what they are. But that's not a bad way to go about it.
Yeah.
Cuts off of Lingering Souls as well.
Well, it actually wouldn't cut off Lingering Souls because you can discard it to the Liliana.
And unfortunately, discarding Golgari Charm at the same time.
Yep.
But certainly having less of those Lingering Souls.
Yes, it does basically turn off the first half of Lingering Souls.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, and actually what I thought was a land, maybe a Maelstrom Pulse? No, okay, there is a land in there. Okay, so we do have a land back up to 3, and discarding that Golgari Charm, certainly an interesting choice. I'm not quite sure. It really tells me that he has cards in his hand that he is prioritizing even higher.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely saw Kalidas in his hand, which will be good here.
Not as good as you'd hope because of
of the Liliana. But it basically trades for the Liliana, which you got to get that card off the table.
Okay.
Looks like a Kitchen Finks. Okay, that's actually going to be pretty good against Liliana.
Yeah, and I always forget that Kitchen Finks is also an option in Jund as well, and I shouldn't because Patrick is running Fulminator Mage.
Yeah.
And it's kind of in a similar vein there, in which they're just really powerful green cards.
Yeah.
So a really solid one there. That's going to do nicely, especially with this Liliana minus. Either he loses the Lily, or we're going to see a plus, and when this Kalidas comes down, combining a Kalidas and a Kitchen Finks is not a bad way to build a board state. So there's a Black Cliffs going away. That's really making me think that Peter is saving that Kalidas to try and develop that board state. And Patrick possibly running light on cards at this point. He's not been playing a whole lot of lands.
Yeah.
So I think we're not able to see right now, but we have got a Verdant Catacombs onto the battlefield, entering into the 4th land.
They actually have a time extension.
I
You guys
believe
have
so.
an extension, right?
But yeah, AJ.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so they do have a time extension, as a heads up. For moving over for us.
It's interesting, because Peter, I think, wants to try to attack to get these Lingering Souls tokens off the field.
Mm-hmm.
But that basically sacrifices the front half.
Of the Kitchen Finks?
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Cletus doesn't really get a whole lot of value off of that, except for
Yeah.
being just another creature. And I'm not sure if I would swing into it, because right now you're disabling the Liliana minus ability.
Yeah.
To where it's basically minus, you gain 2 life.
Yeah.
So, holding it back right now, Patrick isn't getting aggressive with his at the moment.
Definitely really, really like the no attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since those Lingering Souls aren't attacking you anytime soon.
Okay, and you said that they had
8 minutes.
Okay, so about 6 left. Let's go ahead and update that. Let's see here.
Now, if Patrick is actually playing Blood Baron, now would be the perfect time to drop it.
And I know that he has in the past. Very powerful card, and Jund has essentially no way of actually answering that card, because that protection from black and white,
Outside of Double Bolt.
or a huge Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only options
That's about it.
Okay. So, we have got...
Pikachu's just drawn another land.
And actually,
Oh, Maelstrom Pulse. That's a really good one.
yeah, excellent
Definitely
card.
not a land.
Just answers it. There are definitely cards that you would rather have seen, but it's a solid removal spell. It answers that, and now all you have to worry about is that
Peter discarded Damnation.
3/2.
Also, the foil Damnation.
Okay, and the land that he fetched was...
He didn't fetch the land, he just played the Strung Wildwood.
and the Dark Confidant.
Dark Confidant's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of life points to play with.
Okay. So Dark Confidant, excellent card, reveals a... I'm just going to bring it up because it's good.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit of a different art, but that is the card at the bottom right. At the beginning of your upkeep, you reveal the top card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and you lose life equal to its converted mana cost. Really solid when both players are kind of in this top deck mode.
Yeah.
And right now, Patrick sitting on 2 spirits and a Liliana. That Liliana, excellent. Neither player has a card to discard.
No.
But right now, shooting for that ultimate. And
Ooh, that might have been the best draw in Peter's deck.
so that is a really painful one, but that is an insanely good one.
Well, it would be a painful one. It's the truest card in his deck.
It's the painful truth of that card.
Yeah.
Oh man. Reign of Trains, why is Dark Confidant called Bob? I'm gonna see if the chat answers it. If not, we will.
Alright, and Kiki fetched a Temple Guard with the expedition in the middle of your screen is actually a Temple Guard.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, but the expeditions definitely do throw off our art a lot.
Yeah.
So we had a draw for 3. There is actually a bolt in hand. So
Ooh.
Peter has the capability to just bolt this Liliana to keep it
Yep.
small for a bit. Other option, take down one of those spirits and just and swing at the Liliana.
He could also attack with the Kitchen Finks. Try to see if he double walks and then bolt one of the tokens to get both of them.
Okay. Bob Ross painted it.
Yep, Bob Ross. You didn't know Bob Ross was also a Magic player?
Of course. He plays lands.
Yep. It's the only thing he plays.
Okay, so playing down.
What else? What kind of colors do you think he would play? He's always got the happy little forests.
Yeah. So, a Wooded Foothills for Peter has access to 2 lands at the moment. One of those has the capability of being any color from his deck. His other one, a black-red. I know that he has a bolt in hand. Maybe debating using that bolt, but may just swing into these spirits. Either you take down one of them and you're happy, and you can take down that Liliana if needed with the bolt.
Yeah. Although he might actually be
Activating the Stern Wildwood.
Yeah. Which, if I'm Peter, I'm thrilled because you're basically trading a bolt for a Stern Wildwood.
For a land?
Yeah.
And that's hardly a bad thing.
No, not at all.
So,
Especially a land, especially a creature land. Like that, as the games go longer, you turn what would be dead draws into actual creatures.
And there is the bolt finishing that off. That Liliana still has a turn up, but that means that Peter has another bolt in hand with that fetch land. So he has the capability to take down this Liliana whenever.
Would you say this Liliana is going up numbers?
This Liliana will likely be going up numbers. I could see it going down numbers.
Okay.
Depending on what is in Patrick's hand, but with him being in top deck mode, probably wants to take it up to try and get back to a parity between the two players as far as hand size.
It's going to be very difficult to get back to parity, especially with when one person has a Dark Confidant and the other one doesn't.
That's an excellent point. So I think right now Patrick's best case scenario is to draw a removal spell, minus Liliana, remove the other.
Yeah. If he can draw a Path to Exile, even actually Abrupt Decay might be one of the better cards.
And Abrupt Decay would be very good right now.
If he has access to Orzhov Pontiff.
I think it was actually a Tarmogoyf.
It's certainly not. You certainly don't turn down Tarmogoyfs.
No, Tarmogoyf's certainly not a bad one, and I think it's actually bigger than a 3/4 at the moment. I think we've got... it actually might just be.
Oh, it isn't Abrupt. It's Abrupt Decay.
So it is the Abrupt Decay, and
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a minus here. Interesting.
Ooh.
So that's a little bit surprising to me.
This plays around the bolt.
And I don't think that that's really a bad choice.
No, not at all. I could either one of activation is fine.
Yeah, and right now those two spirits are going to race that Kitchen Finks very nicely.
Yeah.
So we could see, now that that Liliana's been plussed, discarding a Scavenging Ooze, so keeping up that bolt.
He's going to keep the bolt over the ooze.
And just to pass back, I would have expected Patrick to swing with one of these spirits.
Yeah, me too.
Because one back is enough to block. If he gets in at your Liliana, you don't require ulting her.
I was going to say he might be playing for the ultimate next turn, but that doesn't really do a whole lot.
It takes down half their land, which is significant, certainly. But I think I would have at least swung with one. You're fine as far as blockers. And if he's going to use a removal spell on one of your tokens and you get a 4-for-1, essentially...
Yeah, that's perfect.
I mean, that's not a bad position to be. Okay. So, Peter taking a look. He's got 2 cards in hand right now. Unfortunately, they did lose. And I can have them check the life totals. If you just want to say, are the life totals on there correct? Someone was asking or something like that. Yeah.
Patrick. Okay, how many fetch lands have you cracked? Are the life totals correct?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's on the paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is at 17.
Okay.
Excellent.
Way to go, Chad.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Tevip, you nailed it.
Yep.
And it looks like next round we are going to be having David on Ghostway versus
And
someone.
we've got the Rhino.
So the Rhino coming down, and that is going to pretty much lock up this game 3.
Yeah.
The biggest issue at this point is that Peter is looking to draw the game.
Yep.
This Liliana, I mean, do you go for the minus? I'd probably just go for the second ability. Take down that Kitchen Finks and start getting aggressive next
definitely.
turn.
You definitely need to... You need to deal damage to him. You have 2 turns to deal 7 damage.
Yeah, and then that means that you can continue minusing it. So if Peter draws into a creature, minus it again, swing again, minus it again, swing again. He has the access.
He is going for the ultimate,
Okay.
Which, I mean, you just split the red lands versus everything else, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that that's going to be bad. I think that he does have this wind locked up regardless.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think that you might have had a little bit more value from Liliana using her as just 3 turns of minus takedown whatever you plan. Because Peter's only option right now is to really start removing them. This bolt is going to take down a spirit. Oh my goodness. Peter's hand, we might actually see a draw at this point then.
Wow.
And, he needs to pick these lands. I think that you're probably correct in which maybe give him the
2 red lands and maybe the Finks.
The only problem is that those 2 red lands give him access to all 3 colors. And then, so he'll obviously take that one over a pile with only 2 of the colors. I like this pile a little bit because you either take the creature and you have a blocker, but your colors are completely limited. Or you cut him off of colors. And actually, wow, really encourage him to take those lands. I think maybe what he might be going here is because if he gives Peter the land, then what he has to do is draw into creatures. But if he takes the creature... Okay, I'm still getting thrown off here. So why would he not want black? Maybe avoid a Dark Confidant, but that's not going to do a whole lot. Maybe avoid
Dark
an Abrupt
Confidant.
Decay?
Dark Confidant's not even
A great-
something that Peter wants to draw here.
No, and this still enables... Hi.
Lily O'Toole. We're only doing 4 rounds.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, that's
alright.
what happened. So.
Yeah.
Every round is going to time.
Okay. So both those creatures getting taken down, and in this ult...
I think I would just split the 2 red lands.
Split the red lanes?
Yeah, split the red lands. You can have the Finks and everything else, but you won't have red lands.
Yeah, and I think if you give him the 2 basics, the black and the red, it gives him only Abrupt Decay as his removal spell to draw. But this one, if I'm Peter, I'd probably take that one, keep the green-red. That gives you Tarmogoyf Wave and Bolt.
Yeah. I think I'd just keep those. Keep the 3 lands.
And actually just not valuing that high, gonna take all 3 colors so that anything that he draws has value. Because it's extremely unlikely, but I think that Kitchen Finks isn't gonna stop a whole lot. And as far as... I think red offers certainly more removal to Jund than black does, is the reason why I mentioned that. Okay, so a swing for 1, Peter going down to 5.
Run.
And a Throne. So this is actually, if Peter doesn't draw a creature or,
He's dead.
or any removal spell, anything,
Yeah.
if he has any way to remove the spirit or block the troll,
Yeah.
then this is a...
This is insane.
Though, isn't this turn 4?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Turn 4, right?
Okay.
okay, so we are at turn 4, and I mean, if this one card matters for Peter,
It's a Kitchen Finks.
it doesn't get any better. That means that even if he gets the path, Peter, it's a draw.
Yeah.
I think this is a guaranteed draw.
Yep.
And there it is. So a draw from both players. We're about to head into next round. So we will see you up in the booth. We're going to say hi to everybody and also give a quick shout out to the huge amount of people that are here at the moment. Let's have some fun before we head into round 4. See you guys in just a moment. Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. My name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
He's a little bit
I
tired
am
today.
really tired.
We're
I apologize.
We're streaming from a store called Geek Fortress, and this is to date our biggest just weekly stream yet. So thank you to all the people joining us. 170, incredible about to as we get ready for this. So if you are brand new, please hit that follow button if you are enjoying it, and I hope that you are. As always, any questions, any comments, and any feedback, always more than welcome, either at my Twitter or in the chat. Great things like that. To Stranger Ranger, we're in a supply closet.
Yeah, it's
I'm
great.
sorry, wait, we're on Innistrad. And this one's looking at me funny.
Yeah.
But
Be wary of that guy.
thank you so much to all the people who are joining us. You guys are all incredible as we get ready for our 4th and final round. We do this 3 times a week. Wednesdays at 7, Fridays at 7:30. That one's Legacy, and Saturdays at 6. This is all Pacific time.
Sorry.
That one's going to
So
be.
David is the next in line.
Okay.
He is playing Bryce. We want to see Eldrazi versus Ghost.
Not really.
Okay, no, I told him no. So I was like,
Okay.
sorry, David.
Is
got
that the finals?
No,
What's the finals?
there's 3 undefeated, so there's going to be
Okay.
Okay.
random.
What are the
It's
2
either going to be
undefeateds?
Burn, Allies, or...
Or we're finding out what our final thing is going to be. I don't know.
Oh.
We're currently finding this out.
Or Eldrazi. So Burn Allies are
Let's
playing
do
each
Allies.
Allies.
other. Ryan,
Okay.
Aaron,
Also, Dylan,
Dylan.
can you ask him to just wait? We're gonna talk to them really quick since we didn't get a chance to, and then we'll just knock
well,
one
they gotta
ready
move
for
anyway,
it.
so.
Okay.
Sorry, we were just doing a little bit of technical stuff.
Open
Thanks
the
for
door
sticking
when you're
with us. We are about to go to round 4. It is going to be Burn versus Allies, the finals match. So, when we get to 500 people, there are going to be some excellent things. One, we have a sealed revised starter deck, which we will open on the stream. Should be really cool. Might be money,
Yep.
might be nothing. And that's what life is all about.
That's what boosters are. Sometimes they're awesome, sometimes
Except
they're
this is
not.
60 cards. Second, I will be eating a delicious Tybalt in Alfredo sauce. A Tybalt fettuccine Alfredo, if you will.
I will not, but I like where you're going.
Third, Joe, who is one of my regular
Yep.
Legacy co-hosts, is apparently going to draw on a playmat and send it to someone.
Yep, that's definitely happening. We're holding him to that.
And if people are interested in, then yeah, we can try and get other people who are hosts to doodle on it as well, if you guys are interested. And Coleman,
I've got something special planned for when we hit 500. I will be recording myself dancing to, and I haven't quite figured out what the song is yet, but I'm pretty sure it's either Careless Whisper by George Michael, or it might be Africa by Toto. Or I might leave it up to the chat.
True, we could do one where they just do we could actually do a Twitter voting system.
That's possible.
So,
But
I don't know.
I will dance to the full song. I will record it, and I will probably put it up on my Twitter.
Ooh, and I'll put it on Reddit.
Yep.
So, thank you to everybody who's
500.
hanging out. Make sure to hit that follow button, and let's watch our finals match. And then we might hang out for just a couple minutes at the end. But let's go ahead and get started. Did I get the people on the right side?
Ryan's on the left.
Dang it, I got it wrong. Okay, so both players currently 3-0. We are going to have allies on the left, going up against Naya Byrne on the right. Personally, I think that that's a pretty sweet matchup, and that does mean that we're going to be able to get a lot of other matches on the stream as well. So let's have a great last one, and hopefully we can provide some entertainment for you guys.
Yep.
See you down there. Okay, so both players about to get started.
Chat's really going off about this, which is good.
About what?
They're all on board about this.
Hey Ryan, could you move that card to avoid confusion? I appreciate you. Okay, so about to have one. How come no Thursday streams? That's a great question, and part of it is because our main Modern and Legacy events are on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and I'm already putting about 16 hours into commentating a week, so maybe someday.
Yep.
Maybe someday.
Only so many hours in a week.
But as it currently sits, I'm limited.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have got Aaron, who's been playing Allies for a bit, been on our stream before. Basic Naya Allies deck, runs Aether Vial, has a lot of synergies there. So, I'm voting for Safety Dance.
Safety Dance is a good one.
I'll dance with you on that one. I'll even get the Jester cap going for the music video. I have one. Second, we've got Ryan, Burn player. Very well-known Burn player who, has certainly been in our stream before. I'm going to eliminate the win counter that we have on there because that's not supposed to be there. And I'm also going to change this to say round 4 of 4. I have still got some catching up with various things to do. Okay, so excellent. Getting everything put together, hopefully in a decent fashion. I appreciate all of you for tolerating us. Okay.
It's one thing I will not do the whip and the nay-nay. I'm not doing that.
I would.
I'm not. There are limits, and that is it.
I have no shame. So we actually, the Cabrera Evangel in Aaron's hand right now.
Well, Aaron doesn't have any lands.
That is unfortunate, and it looks like this is
This is on a 5.
This looks like a 5, and unfortunately no land. Going to be going to a 4, which is pretty much as low as you can reasonably go. So this is going to be a pretty unfortunate
Funny
game.
enough, I've lost to Aaron when he's mulled to 4.
Have you?
So
Okay.
it can happen.
It can definitely happen. All right.
Once we get closer to 500, I'll throw it out there. We can figure out what it is.
Yeah, and part of it is we need you guys to
Yep.
hit that follow button and keep rejoining us, because if we do get to 500, good things will happen, and certainly not for us. we will be having lots of shameful. It's going to be a shameful week.
Hey.
Okay, so we have got And, I mean, scrying with this 4, but still not a whole lot of options. And Ryan just leading in
He
with
found a land, though.
tapped land.
Looks like Aaron's got some lands,
So-
which is definitely where you want to be on your mulligan.
Yeah,
for.
this is a Sacred Foundry into a Hot of Freeblade,
Yep.
which I'm getting better at knowing what these cards are called.
Searing Blaze is a...
Pretty unfortunate there.
when you're on the mulligan, that's not what you want to see.
So that Hot of Freeblade comes in as a 0/1, immediately gets a +1/+1 counter because of the battlefield trigger.
Expedition Envoy Expedition Envoy is going to be actually a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2/1 for
one,
one,
yep.
and that's its biggest value.
Yeah.
And it's also just an enabler.
It's
and
non-legendary Savannah lands.
Exactly. So, and followed by a Monastery Swiftspear, which is going to swing into it. No block by Aaron so far, so going down to 14. Ryan's still at 20, and casting surprisingly few spells for a burn deck. I think he likely kept this hand, which I think he has another Sing Blaze in hand. Very likely he kept this. Oh no, looks like a couple of lands and maybe a Boros Charm.
I think on Boros Charm. Yeah.
So, not the greatest hand that I've seen kept by Ryan. Maybe keeping it because it did have that Searing Blaze, which has a huge amount of value against a creature aggro deck, which he knows that Aaron is on.
Yep.
And that is going to have, a pretty nice effect. And with Aaron already going down to 10, I mean, that's a pretty impressive thing.
Yeah.
The Kabir Evangel really has a lot of value at the moment, and Ryan is running out of cards. I think he's got
an Atarka's Command, which is going to actually... Ooh, that's interesting.
So I think the reason why he's passing is because Lantern Scout exists in this deck.
Yeah, but if he plays Lantern Scout, he won't be able to block.
No, but he can at least keep him from gaining life.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, like, your opponent's on a mulligan to 5.
Yeah.
You can't... Sometimes you just gotta say,
And
I'm not gonna...
that is a core...
that is a core Blade Whirl.
Thank you. That is a core Blade Whirl. What it does is it gives your creatures first strike.
Yep.
When it enters the battlefield or whenever another ally enters the battlefield. And Ryan going to be going down to Den, matching up these life totals. These are the top 2.
Mm-hmm.
There is one other undefeated deck at the moment. It is the Eldrazi.
Yeah, we're not happy, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I gotta respect the deck. I like all decks. I don't have anything against a particular modern deck, but certainly it doesn't.
Yep.
At a certain
I
point,
have a lot of things against Tron.
I've evolved to be. I don't know. There's only so much you can watch the Eldrazi deck. I think that's the biggest thing for me. So we have a core Blade Whirl blocking this Goblin Guide, and then a fetch.
I believe he's going to return it to his hand with that ally encampment.
That's a pretty interesting choice. I don't think that did we see the trigger from the Goblin Guide on the attack yet?
Yeah, he revealed the Windswept Thief.
Thank you. Okay, so we do have, and yes, it is Blue-White Eldrazi, piloted by Bryce Donaldson. We saw it in the first round. And thank you to Punkanova for hosting us. You are incredible. Yeah, you pointed. I'm going to point there.
Yeah. Somewhere around here. There we go.
Yeah. So Ryan with an Atarka's Command and another land in hand, but that Atarka's Command didn't even need to use it because you're right. Aaron did return that core Blade Whirl to his hand, which makes me think that he's running light on actual allies in hand. If he's prioritizing that first strike.
I think Aaron might just win the game here because he drew Reckless Bushwhacker.
Interesting.
And he can cast it for the search cost now.
Yeah, and a Reckless Bushwhacker following a core Blade Whirl is going to put that to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yep.
So as long as that is in fact a land in Ryan's hand, this is a game 1 win off of a mulligan to 4. Oh my goodness. That is excellent.
Ooh. See? I'm telling you, sometimes synergy decks just win.
Synergy decks do well, and that's Searing Blaze. Now, I think part of that is because Ryan kept a hand that is not particularly ideal and got punished with it with his draws.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that was a really great 4 from Aaron, and not even just like giving up and continuing to play out some good magic. That's a really solid way to do it.
You always gotta play to win.
Exactly. So Ryan looks like getting in some Torpor Orbs, which are going to be excellent against this deck. Running a Torpor Orb in a burn deck, unusual to say
very true.
the least, I guess.
Yep.
But definitely an interesting choice. And yes, there is only a single Eldrazi in our store as well. Sometimes two, but
Sometimes.
usually just one. Lot of Rakdos. Maybe tone it down.
Yep.
Doro handling it.
Yep.
Okay, so going into game 2, Ryan on the play. The burn deck still on the play, and I think the weirdest thing that we saw out of Ryan in that second game, or in that first game, is playing a tapped land with no spell on turn 1, which is very, very unusual.
Yeah. The reason to play burn is because you have nothing but 1-drops.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, and as for how many affinity players that we do have in the store, I'm not sure about how many we have tonight.
I don't think it's any, actually.
So not many tonight, but interestingly enough, I think we have 3, maybe 4 players who play it periodically, and just none of them showing up tonight.
Yeah.
I know that that's my main deck, so I'm always happy to lend it out.
I'm always happy when Affinity shows up because Abzan Company's got a great Affinity.
It's got a decent one.
Yeah.
I'll admit, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
I've play tested enough to make it not miserable.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but it's never what I want to be looking down.
It's fine. Like, I just can't ever beat Tron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop trying to beat Tron.
Okay.
I'm just gonna play my Fulminator Mages and hope.
So, all kinds of things happening, and again, a big thank you to all the people who are joining. I am absolutely thrilled that this is probably one of our biggest streams that we've done on
definitely.
At least a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We've gotten, I think we may have had one when we got hosted by like Jeff Hoogland.
Yeah, I think so.
But as far as just on our own merits, which is funny to say because, hopefully I don't know. Hopefully we're worth having, our own merit. I don't know. It's still, I'll be honest, it's still very unusual to me, the growth that this channel has had, and I'm still very much getting used to it. So I don't mean to be totally self-depreciating. It's just something that I'm still adjusting to because I never expected this. This is currently about 140% of what I ever expected.
I'm glad we got that extra 40.
Yeah.
'Cause up until that point, but for that we hit that 140.
Yeah,
we
exactly. Actually, I'm sorry. I actually meant more than that anyway. I actually meant 1,400%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just wrong. I was just
math is
wrong.
Math is hard.
You carry the decimal point in the wrong direction sometimes.
Look, burn players don't count to more than 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I read a really good burn primer the other day that was updated to account for life gain, and basically it was the 3 times tables all the way up to 10.
Really?
Yeah, it was incredible. Really eye-opening that there is actually beyond a 21.
Oh, you know what? I don't believe you, even though I've gone to more than 21 life.
Yep. So, Ryan, going for a turn 1 mountain into a lava spike, not the ideal turn 1 start because you would rather have a creature, but Aaron really starting with his turn 1 with, I believe, Holdout Settlement into an Aether Vial.
It is a ally encampment.
I'm sorry, an ally encampment.
Yep.
I've done that twice now. I'm sorry. I know someone's going to call on me.
I would be very impressed with Aaron if he was playing Holdout Settlement.
Yeah. Otherwise, followed up with a Grim Lavamancer, which is going to have a huge amount of value.
Yep.
Might even be going for this creature right now.
Maybe.
The only reason to not do that is because this Aether Vial could put one in response, and you would want to go in response to this trigger if he is going to do it.
Yeah.
But it looks like just allowing it. So that's 2 Hada Free Blades, which is going to start having a lot of value over a pretty nice amount of time. 0-1, but now already has
an Expedition Envoy.
So now has a 2-3,
Ooh.
has a 3-4, and a 2-1.
Yeah, I mean this is kind of nuts.
Yeah, and Ryan not using that Grim Lavamancer to take one down
Ooh.
is a little bit unusual to me. But
That
this
is,
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
That's a pretty impressive swing.
Raccoon Battle Singer is a very, very real card.
Oh, because they also got +1
plus
+0.
0.
So that's actually a swing for 11 with Aaron down to 12. That is a very, very impressive. Still a little bit surprised to see that. Yeah, I guess seeing that Rift Bolt get activated, he had access to the Grim Lavamancer and didn't even use it at the end step.
Yeah.
And that seems like he might have assumed that it still had Summoning Sickness when it didn't.
Maybe.
But I think that is a very unusual choice by him. Not even to deal the, get him to even 7. That Rift Bolt, because that would have made... And a Kabira, a Vangel, giving them all protection from a color. Probably going to name Red.
I would name Red. That seems like the best one.
Ryan has access to a Path in hand as well as a Bolt, so we might see him Bolt in response, maybe do a Path in response, but he's still in a huge amount of trouble.
Yeah. Also, something in Aaron's hand that Ryan doesn't know about, he actually has the Undo Cleric in his hand.
Okay. So...
I think he actually went after his face with the Lavamancer.
Yeah, it does look like
So-
with those 2 lava spikes sideways.
Yeah.
Missed that one, so I think he just turned him sideways and maybe didn't, because I didn't see the Grim Lavamancer tap, but I may have just blinked or been distracted by the chat. But nonetheless, we did see the Grim Lavamancer at least put him down to 12, and then we saw the Rift Bolt put him down to 9, and now a launcher's that Path taking down the Expedition.
Ryan might actually be dead here to this Undo Cleric.
That is not an Undo Cleric, that is a Kabira.
No, he's got a Undo Cleric in his hand.
Ooh. And that is going to be very good.
Yeah, he's going to go to 8. Probably get a Forest. Although I don't think it really matters here.
Whoop, that is not what we're looking for. Got it. So, 2 mana for a 1/1 that when it enters you gain life equal number of allies you control. Currently controls 3 of them.
Yep.
And with 1 trigger from this Akun Battle Singer at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely an Undo Cleric.
Mm-hmm. So, going to be gaining 4 life, going up to 12. And...
Although I don't think that's what matters here.
No, I think that this is just a swing for the win. We've got 2 triggers of that, so that's a swing for 7. That's enough.
Yep.
So a win and 2 for allies. That was extremely fast.
Does the Akun Battle Singer give them haste?
It does not give them all haste.
Okay.
No.
I couldn't remember if that was if it gave it haste or not.
Yeah, that was something that I misunderstood earlier.
Yes, that also was a company in his hand.
Yep.
So he had a very... That if you promise me that I'm going to get those draws, I will be the first one to play allies.
Yeah, that was a very, very excellent hand. So let's try and get another match because that was fast.
Yeah, that was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be.
I will see you guys in the booth where if you guys have any questions or comments or feedback, let me know and we'll try and respond to them while Coleman is finding us a match.
Yep.
See you guys soon. Hello, and also if you can get maybe Abzan Company or something like that.
There are no Abzan companies.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to try and get some of that stuff, but it is all kinds of fun, getting some sweet decks coming up towards the end of our evening, but we are not done yet. Still going to get some other matches here because that one finished pretty quickly, so we're going to have someone else hop up to that feature match. In the meantime, again, I cannot thank you all enough for making this such a successful stream. One thing that I do want to note is that often... unfortunately, I cannot afford to fly you out here, mostly because this stream currently makes no money and is operating on a budget of entirely within the red. We had a starting budget of about 0 and have since bought things to make it operate. So, unfortunately, I can't fly you out at the moment. Not an option as it currently sits. Sorry about that. Nonetheless, if you guys do, tossing this out, still it's not something that it's something that I'm getting used to, so I apologize. It's going to come out as awkward. But if you guys are interested in, I know that there were some requests for it a while back. There is a donate button at the very bottom of the page. If you do want to help out, enable us to do some other sweet things, then everything helps, and we can continue to try and update this and improve it however we can. But we've gotten a decent amount of time with very little, and hopefully we can keep going, so it's going to be a blast. If you guys do have any questions, any comments, or any feedback, just let me know. Toss an @GeekFortress into that question. Someone asked, is Burn just that much slower than allies? The thing is that they're both aggro decks capable of gold fishing a pretty solid kill. But because Allies operates with creatures, it has a more consistent, so each one of those cards can deal more than 3 damage with repetitive attacks if they aren't removed. So Burn becomes the control deck in that particular situation, and I think Ryan just had a couple of hands that didn't lend themselves to being a control deck because of those lava spikes, things that just don't actually remove those creatures.
All right.
What have we got?
We got David on camera.
Ooh, against Eldrazi, actually, huh?
I figured David's against the wall. He's playing Bryce.
So we have, unfortunately, let's get the hard part out of the way. This is blue-white Eldrazi, but this is the other undefeated person, and they are going up against a super sweet deck, and this is why we have it on here.
Yep, it's not because we want to see more Eldrazi.
It is Ghostway.
Yep.
Ghostway the deck, the amazing deck, as I just had like the worst sentence that I've ever said in my life.
Yep.
As I continue to be unable to type because I'm trying to do too many things at once.
Well, multitasking is kind of hard.
Are we going to jump on stream to demo any decks ever? I'm assuming that you're talking about me playing in tournaments. Also, what game are they going to?
They're going to game 2. David is up a game.
Going to game 2. David is up a game against Eldrazi. Let's head on down. Again, we will stick around just for a little bit after that to answer a few questions, but just not as long as usual. We'll see you down there. And I think they're waiting for you to let them know.
Sorry, you guys are good to go. Sorry.
Oh, excellent. Okay. So, they are getting ready, so I'm going to answer a couple of questions. My favorite deck in Standard currently isn't any, I guess, Atarka Red. Closest thing to Burn. I'm a big Red deck wins fan, things like that.
When I last played Standard, I really enjoyed playing Rally.
Am I going to jump on the stream to demo any decks ever? We are looking at eventually adding deck text to our repertoire as something that we can do. As far as me playing in those tournaments, mostly I hang out back here.
Yep.
Maybe one day when I have a more consistent base of the co-host. It's nothing against you guys.
No, that's fine.
But just as far as, the whole setup is something that I don't want to just toss into the hands of someone.
That's fine. I wouldn't know where to start.
However, I can definitely do something as far as possibly doing deck demos, so we're thinking about doing deck text. So, an Eldrazi Mimic off of an Eldrazi Temple for Bryce. Excellent start with David just dropping in a Wooded Foothills with the beginning. Okay.
This is a fine start.
Following up with an Eldrazi Sky Spawner with a swing for 2, so David going down to 18, now down to 17 with that fetch. Otherwise, one Eldrazi Scion, a 2/1 flying, and a 2/1 at the end, So not a bad start for Bryce, but not the fastest that I've seen. And that's really what David is looking for right now. Okay. Doro, there's a decent chance of it. I'm happy to trade secrets sometime. Sideboard for Tron against Burn. Thragtusk, not Ancient Grudges, Nature's Claims.
Nature's Claim, more Wormcoil Engines.
Another Wormcoil Engine.
I've seen Sun Droplet before.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good one. If you want to go super, super hateful, you could play like Dragon's Claw.
And we have a path on the Eldrazi Mimic.
Okay.
At the end step. So,
I think he was just trying to make sure that he doesn't get reality smashed.
Probably. And I think the interesting part about that is that he's actually getting Bryce closer to actually casting the Eldrazi Smasher in the process. But David playing a Ghostway deck, we do see a Wall of Roots in hand, a Revelark in hand. Is that a Sigarda?
I think it might be.
So that might be
that's a Sin Collector.
Gotcha. Okay. Man, that actually makes me happier that way.
Yeah.
A Sigarda would have been a pretty interesting choice here. So that Wall of Omens coming out, it is going to draw him a card. Looks like he got a Chord, which is about as much as he can hope for.
Pretty good one. Yeah, there's Reality Smasher.
And there is the Reality Smasher with a swing for 7. Can't block any of that, unfortunately. So David's going to be going down to 6 here in Game 2. I mean, he can prevent one of it.
He can prevent 4 of it.
Or, I'm sorry, he can take one of the Reality Smasher and lose his creature, but it's not what I'm expecting him to do.
No,
and it doesn't, because now he's able to keep that up as a blocker for future things, but mostly he can use it for a Chord.
Yeah.
And so he might drop this Wall of Roots. That is going to put him up to having a Chord for 2 available, which gives him...
Is that a Temple of Abandon?
It might be, but that would be...
That's a Temple of Abandon.
Interesting. So possibly something that he is running because, maybe didn't get the other lands, or could be running for the Scry.
Yeah, I mean...
If you're looking for the late game.
I've definitely played Scrylands in my decks.
Absolutely. So, 3 lands and a Wall of Omens for David, looking down 4 lands because of that path, a Reality Smasher, an Eldrazi Sky Spawner, and an Eldrazi Scion.
Yep.
Looking at the various options, I do see a Revelark, I see a Sing Collector, a Chord of Calling, a Wall of Roots, and 1 card along with the Temple that I can't identify right now.
It's a white card.
It is, but I couldn't tell. Maybe Night Exempt. Oh, Seachrome Coast. Perfect. Even better. Perfect.
Is that a Seachrome Coast? That looks red to me.
So, looks like that Wall of Roots coming out right now. It does have the ability to chord for 3 next turn.
That's definitely a red card.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't think it really matters,
And
unfortunately.
The second Reality Smasher. So, right now a chord for 1 is possible, but I just don't think that there's any 1-drop that's actually going to provide enough to outvalue this. It's a swing for 10 with trample on the ground.
Yeah.
Technically, he can block it and only take 1, but he's still taking 3, losing both of those creatures.
He's just dead, unfortunately.
And that path. Yep. So we're going to be seeing a game 3 here.
Yep. Before this next game starts, Habser, there are a couple 5-color decks that are good in Eternal formats. What was it? That's Vivid Control, I think, is a deck that's currently being massively underplayed, but that's because it can't beat Blood Moon. In Legacy, which I gotta say I'm not super familiar with, unfortunately.
5-color decks, probably Kiki Chord.
Oh yeah,
That's
fair.
You can splash. Also, Bring to Light Scapeshift.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is decent.
Yeah.
Decent.
Wargate is technically a 5-color deck.
Wargate is a sweet deck, by the way.
Oh yeah, Wargate. Definitely, you should give it a chance.
Can you
It's
get me a
awesome.
list? I can put on the Geek Fortress one.
Awesome. I'll get you a list as soon as I can.
We'll make it happen. Wargate is a super sweet deck.
I might still have the list on me.
I can't type it right now.
That's fine.
When I was typing up the top 8 deck lists, as it turns out, typing up a deck list takes a lot longer than I expected. So I was like, I'm just going to get this done in like 15 minutes. And like an hour later, I was still typing in things because it's when they start running non-basics and it's like there's nothing in there that's...
Yeah.
It's like there was a Kiki Chord deck in there, or maybe not a Kiki Chord, but there was something to where it's like nothing but 2 of and 3 of, and I was like, and finally I flipped and I was like, it's a Merfolk. I was like, thank goodness a Merfolk. 4.
Burn.
All right.
Just burn is 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 1.
Okay.
Those were always my favorite decks to register because you knew exactly what they were.
To Sarah. Another one of those questions that it's much easier to answer at the end of this round during a little bit of time.
Very cool, Verdant Catacombs.
Yep. So a Verdant being played into an Eye of Ugin with an Eldrazi Mimic coming down again.
Oh, I did not see your previous question. Sorry about that.
Tried doing some deck techs during the streams with people at the shop. The biggest thing is that we are in a supply closet that has almost no room available to it.
Yeah.
We're looking into it though.
Yeah.
So, David going for a fetch down to 19 and just grabbing a tapped
Breeding Pool.
Breeding Pool.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think it's because David might have a Wall of Omens in his hand and a Plains.
Okay.
So
drop that down, get up a decent blocker. Worst case scenario, it might, block a Thought Monster is really your worst case scenario for Bryce's turn 2, and I don't think that I saw one. Nope, I see an Eldrazi Displacer, which is probably going to be his next play.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's a pretty land-heavy hand for Bryce.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's where I would want to be. If I was David, I'd want my opponent to basically not go insane.
Yes, that is Tudoro. That is the correct camera. So, David going down to 16 off of a fetch into a shock, I imagine, and going to be putting down a Wall of Omens, which is going to be a great blocker against that Eldrazi Mimic, especially
Definitely.
if Bryce's next game plan is to drop an Eldrazi Sky Spawner.
Yep.
That's not going to be enough to break through that line. And looks like going for a Sacred Foundry. So this is at least a 4-color deck. You're looking for a 5-color deck?
Yeah, this is a good one.
This might be the one.
This might be
because
it.
there's a Sync Collector in this deck as well.
Yep.
So this is a 5-color deck. Okay, so Wall of Omens coming out. Let's see here.
I wonder if he's gonna name Eldrazi.
So, I think it's pretty likely. And going for that Eldrazi Displacer, which is going to turn the Mimic into a 3/3, still not enough to tack into this Wall of Omens confidently. So David getting his turn back, going into a wooded foothills.
It's certainly sweeter than Kiki Chord.
Is there anything sweeter than Kiki Chord?
I don't know. Ghostway is pretty good.
That's true. So right now, Bryce unable to activate that Eldrazi Displacer, so mostly acting as a 3/3, which makes me curious as to why he didn't just go for the Sky Spawner, which I think he has in hand. I could be wrong though. Okay, I was wrong.
No,
I didn't see that one.
He has it, yeah.
I think that blue card that I saw was that Stubborn Denial, and
Yeah.
not actually the Sky Spawner. So that was my fault there. Okay,
Here's a Thought Knots here.
so the Thought Knots are going to come down,
David has double path.
and that is going to be
And a
phenomenal.
Phantasmal Image, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, and I'd probably just reveal a hand, because if you go for the path, he still gets the trigger.
Yep.
And then he can take the other path and then
Yep.
cut you off of removal. I'd rather let him have his pick of it.
Yeah.
And make him pick his own poison, so to speak. But having the double path, unless there's something else that he is very fond of and needs to play out, then possibly go for that. But,
Oh, sorry, I forgot one. You can play Battle of Wits. It's all 5 colors.
true. He does have a Ghostway in hand.
Yep.
I think maybe he was considering you could cast that just to draw a card.
Yeah, but I mean, you take like, you take 7 damage to do that.
And a Restoration Angel as well. So we have got 2 paths, a Restoration Angel, a Phantasmal Image, a Ghostway, and an Eternal Witness, which is a pretty solid lineup of cards. Which one do you end up going for?
That's a very good question.
Maybe.
I think I might actually go after that Ghostway. Maybe a path.
Okay. So my
And then Image is also something I would consider, since that image can actually copy the Thought Knot.
yeah, I think my pick might be the Eternal Witness or the Phantasmal Image.
Yeah, that's the Eternal Witness is also a really good one.
Just because that Eternal Witness is one of the things that Ghostway is going to give a ton of value to, and it's going to ensure that he continues to hit land drops, things like that.
Okay, he goes after a path.
Yeah, so cutting off some of that removal, I expect to see that other path go for it. And maybe Bryce, once he loses that, he doesn't have a huge amount of pressure, so Bryce might just be really hoping to top deck well, because I think he is out of threats in hand.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's got.
And the path should likely be cast sooner rather than later, because now Bryce can't counter it.
Yep.
Because he still only has the Cavern, played out an Eldrazi Temple, which I think wasn't. It was an interesting choice, but I would have preferred to see maybe the Adakar ways to drop that, because he didn't need the extra mana as it currently set.
Yeah.
And, that doesn't actually tap for blue. So, blocking the 3, gonna take 2, heading down to, looks like 12 because of that trigger from the Thought Knots here when it originally entered. But otherwise...
I don't think it's going to come up here, but I don't think David was ever going to block that Eldrazi Mimic, so I don't know why you would attack with the Eldrazi Displacer.
I think it's more just to force him to make that decision, and also you have no reason to keep back the Eldrazi Displacer. The Wall of Omens can't attack, it's got Defender, there's nothing in haste out of David's deck. So I think more...
This doesn't know that.
He very likely does.
Um,
These two know each other.
What? Yeah. Okay.
We're all part of a chat in which when we have a sweet brew, we usually share it for opinions. So,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. By all means, share your brews when you think they're awesome.
yeah, absolutely.
Even when you don't think they're awesome, you should share it.
Okay. So, Ghostway deck. Let's talk a little bit about Ghostway. The biggest thing is that it's Enter the Battlefield deck.
Buddy.
And what it does is cast this card called Ghostway. And Ghostway removes all creature cards all the creatures that you control from the game, and you return them at the end step. So what that does is enter the battlefield triggers, you start chaining those together. If you have an Eternal Witness, you can bring it back, get back your Ghostway, while also flicking a Restoration Angel, which is able to flicker your Stonehorn Dignitary.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. We've got him almost.
Now, he has
the Dismember, unfortunately.
but he has to take 4 for that.
And he also skips his next combat.
Yeah, so that is
Yeah.
a very cool
Yeah.
card there. And still has the Eternal Witness in hand, so can actually get it back.
Yep.
But stacks a lot of those enter the battlefield effects with things like Stonehorn Dignitary, and also you can do things like Siege Rhino sometimes, Eternal Witness Restoration Angel to start getting a lot of value.
Flicker Wisp is a good one, so it'll exile for their entire turn.
Flicker Wisp is an excellent one, so really tries to do something like that.
Yeah.
Runs some Chord to also grab pieces as necessary.
Yeah.
This Phantasmal Image is a very cool card in this deck because since it doesn't target, it just keeps coming in and you can keep copying whatever you want. So if they've got like a Thought-Knots here or something like that, you can just keep going for it. They'll keep drawing cards, but you keep taking the best of them. So all kinds of cool stuff.
That is great.
Yeah. And there's the Eternal Witness, and I think we're going to see that end up going for the Stonehorn Dignitary.
Yeah, definitely.
Bryce doesn't have an attack next turn.
Yep, not unless he draws Reality Smasher.
Now, Bryce is going to get an attack on his very next turn.
Yep.
So, still doesn't have any... has a path in hand. Got the Thought-Knots here, so that's going to be able to exile that Stonehorn Dignitary, unfortunately. But that also shows us what David ended up getting. So, let's take a look.
Please be another Stonehorn
And
Dignitary.
actually, that's an Orzhov Pontiff. So that's a pretty interesting choice.
Yeah, that's
Able to
not a bad
take
one.
down at least the Mimic, if nothing
Yeah.
else. But I think very likely Bryce is going to go for that Stonehorn Dignitary, because out of everything else, he cannot
Yeah.
beat that.
I was gonna say.
And except by just continuing
It
to
is
get
exiles.
more removal.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is not going well for David. It went from very good to not very good.
You know, the Restoration Angel is still going to be
Yep.
nice. He can get back those paths with the Eternal
Yeah,
Witness.
that's.
So,
I'm definitely not saying he's out of the game.
mhm.
This is just not as good.
Yeah. Being down to 5 is never where you want to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Single digit live totals is not great.
No, but still has a few options available.
Yeah.
Can cast the Orzhov Pontiff just to take down that Eldrazi Mimic.
If he drew a land, he can play the land and image, and if
The Thought-Knots here.
image the Thought-Knots here, and then Ghostway in response to a roll as well.
Yep. Or could even image the Eternal Witness, getting back the path and path his opponent's Thought-Knots here, and then draw the card off of that.
That's true. That's another good
So
line.
that could be a line that I kind of expect. It actually did get the
He
land.
drew the land.
Has to go down to 3 for it, but Bryce doesn't have a whole lot of reach.
No, but Bryce does have Stubborn now.
Bryce does have Stubborn Denial. He does have the blue mana this time.
Yep.
But everything that he's currently looking at is creature-based, except maybe that path.
Yep.
So I think you're right in that going for some of those other cards is probably better. Okay.
Yeah, this is. I mean, that's the thing about playing with weird decks. Sometimes you have lines that no one really knows but you.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed from doing this stream is
Yeah.
to being able to view and trying to get into the mindset of so many different players.
He could also play the Pontiff to kill the Eldrazi Mimic.
Yeah. Definitely play now. Leaves him with 1 mana up and not a whole lot of options. He can chump block the Mimic and just use the wall, or chump block the Thought-Knots here. Use the Wall of Omens for the Eldrazi Displacer. But
Although, there is also something you have to worry about where Eldrazi Displacer will return all of your creatures tapped.
Eldrazi Displacer. What an interesting card.
Yeah, it is not very fun to play against, but it's incredibly fun when you have it.
So, Eldrazi Displacer. Ah! I hit the wrong button.
It's okay, it's really late.
No kidding. So that Eldrazi Displacer, 3 mana, exile another target creature, then return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. The only nice thing is that if he hits the Eternal Witness, he's going to get a path back. If he hits the Wall of Omens, he's going to draw a card. So maybe not your worst case scenario, and then, but you know, you do have to respond to that.
Yeah.
David can't really Ghostway in response.
Nope.
Can do the Restoration Angel. But luckily Bryce can only activate that once.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That is definitely a dangerous place to be. Okay.
Although, I think he tapped in a way... There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
So, still keeping up all of the available colors except blue, but he's not going to really need that. And I'm not sure what he's choosing at the moment.
I'm a little confused where
Let's see.
this is going.
Yeah. As am I.
Oh, he's not going to let him take him back.
Interesting. Okay, so that takes away the Orzhov Pontiff as an option.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, we have...
Also takes away Ghostway as an option.
Takes away Ghostway as an option as well. And we don't really know what it is copying. Can you open the door and find out?
I assume this is with it still in the stack.
Okay. Oh. Wakeside, good luck. That sounds awesome. Okay.
Should always splash counter spells.
I don't know. I'd rather slash bolts, but that's personal.
Yeah, well, Bolt's basically a counter spell, right?
Basically. I mean,
Counters your opponent's strength growth.
they can't cast spells if they're dead.
Uh-huh.
So.
It was copying Thought-Knot Seer.
Okay. So copies the Thought-Knot Seer. Acting as a 4/4 right now, still has enough blockers, and Bryce seems to be out of a lot of options.
Well, Bryce is going to correct this fetch. He's going to go to 14. He's going to blink the Thought-Knot Seer, which is going to die.
Okay.
And he's going to draw a card. He's going to go to his turn. I assume he's going to blink the Eternal Witness and then attack for the win.
Very likely.
Yep.
And doesn't have a whole lot of options.
Yep.
All of those cards cost white. So. Alright.
Yep, that's fair, Green Cuttlefish. But you kind of do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, may have been keeping it just to go for the... Might have been keeping it to try and target the Phantasmal image more than anything else.
Yep.
Or not the Thought-Knot Seer and get that value off of that. As for the casual REL, yes, it is casual REL. And unfortunately, we aren't able to hear the players. But I'm not quite sure what happened.
Yeah.
But us not being particularly the judges, we just can shout out reminders. Probably, I'll probably mention it to David later that he's more than welcome to just call over Dylan, who is the TO and judge, and it'd probably be fun. Or there was something that we didn't realize. That is, that's certainly an option. There might have been something happening that we didn't know about, but certainly an unfortunate happening. And I think, is that probably close to the end?
I think that's the end. I don't think anyone else is playing.
Okay, so we are going to talk with you guys a bit.
Yep.
Don't go away just yet. Stick with us. We're about to go back and hang out with you guys. We've got a little bit of time, but not a ton. So, if you've got any questions for us, especially if we missed them earlier, just toss them in the chat, and we will see what we can do to answer them. Hello everybody, and thank you again for joining. Hopefully we got some brand new people following us. It looks like we did get a decent amount of people, maybe around 20 new people, which, is pretty fun.
There we go.
Hopefully, if you guys are new and have not hit it yet, feel free to hit that follow button. We do this 3 times a week. We are always trying to improve it, and a large part of that is interacting with you guys and letting you give us that feedback in those ways to improve. Keeping your questions and your comments in that chat, letting us kind of interact with you guys, because interacting with you guys is our favorite part about
Definitely
this
my
whole
favorite
thing.
part.
What is our favorite island artwork? I mean, I hate to do this to you, but I have 2.
I already know mine.
One of them is the Cup Island. I think it's sweet. The second one is from either Cons or Dragons, but it's that one that has the ice kind of thing going on.
Okay.
I really like that one.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah. How about you?
It is the John Avon 10th Edition Island.
Wow, that is oddly specific.
Yep. I could describe it, but it works better if you just look it up yourself.
So, there you go for that.
Peace out, Trilmer. Hope you hit that follow button.
I think Trilmer has hit it before, but
I
if you
think so.
haven't,
But
be
yeah.
sure to. The other ways to get any kind of contact with us, we're more than happy to do it. I've been interacting with a couple of the people who have done it previously. Follow me on Twitter. I try to respond to anything that actually comes my way. I'm more than happy to do cool things with cool people, and, and I've answered some questions. As well as Reddit, I'm trying to be more active than I have been.
Yep. Sure.
But I have the exact same name on Reddit. There's a couple of posts out there now if you want to leave any feedback there. Or if you liked it, let people know that it was fun and that they should try it out if they're on the fence, because, you know, hopefully this is something that you want to bring people to. I know that we certainly do.
Yeah, and then if you guys have any sweet deck ideas, right there.
He is all about those, and he is not back here every single time.
Nope.
So he is more than happy to put those together.
Oh yeah, if I can build it with those cards, I will definitely play it.
Exactly. Now, one quick note is that if you guys are all going to be around, which maybe you are.
Yeah, maybe you are, maybe you aren't.
Stick with us until the end of the month, not constantly.
Yeah.
But on the 26th of this month, we are doing a GPT, which we have done once before, maybe twice, I don't know. But we've done one that was fairly successful, where we streamed, and Coleman, you were going to be my co-host for that one as well. The 26th, it's a Saturday, noon Pacific Standard Time, and also all those times down there are Pacific Standard Time. It is currently 10:47 p.m. here. It's going to be 5 to 6 rounds plus a cut to top 8. It's going to be incredible. As for Hadron alignment, David Bradbury, who was just on camera, built that. And actually, we saw that we got a feature match of him against the Eldrazi, in which he took a game.
Hey,
taking a game with Eldrazi, with Hadron alignment. I feel like that's an accomplishment.
That's good enough.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's certainly a blast interacting with you guys. If you do have any other questions, toss them in. We'll be here for maybe another... How about until that timer hits 0?
Okay.
We'll take off around then, but 6 questions game, certainly online at the moment. So if you have
6 questions game.
Or, I'm sorry, 6 words. The 6 words game, certainly online. If you just put your question and then put in 6 words either at the beginning or the end, we'll toss out an answer in 6 words. Doesn't necessarily have to be magic related. We've certainly answered odd questions like, would you go to space if you were able to?
Oh, instantly.
The answer was no. I can't breathe space.
I
think that was Steven's answer, and I loved it. He was like, no, because I can't breathe space. It's a great point.
That is a well thought out point.
So, you know, whatever you guys have got, we're happy to hang out. In the meantime, here's a quick little conversation, which I know that I've iterated a lot on previous streams, but it's something that I want to make sure that I notice a lot, especially being in the position of having perfect information, and I realize that that gives me a kind of a small view. But when mulliganing, and especially when sideboarding, I think that there starts to come out this mentality in that your sideboard cards are powerful, and you need to mulligan until you find them and keep that hand.
Yeah.
And while that isn't wrong, I don't think that that is right.
Yeah. There are some matchups where that's entirely a thing that you might want to try to do.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you're playing against Manaless, Dredge, and Legacy, and you have Leyline of the Void, that's entirely something you could do.
Yeah.
Or if you're playing against if you're playing against like even the Grishelbrand deck, and you want to find Leyline, that's definitely good, but you can still lose it through the breach.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that, say you're going up against Affinity, don't keep 6 lands in a Stony Silence. You will lose.
Yeah.
You might win. You might.
Yeah, you might win, yeah.
But a powerful sideboard card does not a winning hand make.
Yep.
And so the biggest thing is to remember that what you need to always have, and which is much more important, is a plan against that deck. That sideboard card is very likely a huge part of that plan. But if your plan is to land that and then assemble a win condition, you should probably be able to do that.
Yep.
So, just a quick thought for you guys while waiting for some questions. 6 words. What's your least favorite modern deck?
Let's off the top. Tron, Pyroclasm, Kozilek's Return, Warm Coil Engine.
Hard for me. I like everything.
Cop out. Taking the cop out answer. I see how it is.
The problem is that I can appreciate everything about every deck. So if I
Can't
were to go,
appreciate Tron.
I can appreciate Tron. If I'm to get to like the point of this is just the deck that I have the least amount of respect for.
Well, right now the least amount of respect I have is Eldrazi. But
I think if I have to dislike a deck, I only dislike Eldrazi not because I'll admit the deck does cool things.
Yeah.
It does. It operates on a sweet axis, and if it wasn't 40% of the meta, I would probably think, wow, that's a super cool deck.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm more just bored of Eldrazi more than anything.
Yeah, that's also.
I'm bored of the
100%
conversations
fair.
about Eldrazi. And it's not that I kind of enjoy them still,
Yeah.
but it's just the fact that they're still going is something that sometimes you gotta hit refresh.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on that one.
Yes, I am gonna be a hater about Tron. I've fully accepted that as a core principle of my being.
6 words. What superpower would you want? Super speed. There's never enough time. As I can attest to not having enough time, this takes up
All right.
the time that I do have.
Zach Morris, Saved by the Bell.
So freeze time.
Freeze time. Yep.
Nice. Freeze frame.
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame. No, it's Con Daddy. Oh no, you're a con artist. That's also a clever name.
Yeah,
I will say one
that's a good
thing.
one.
The cleverness of Twitch chatters
Oh, it's off the chart.
is incredible. Because I have seen some of the greatest
God.
things. I saw one that was Dank Confidant. It was
Tank Confidant. Oh, that's fantastic.
It was amazing. So, I definitely have had a lot of fun with these Twitch chat people, and it looks like we are coming up on the end
Yep.
of our time. So, just a quick thank you. You guys are the 90 who stick around and hang out with us when...
Giving us the full 90.
Exactly. So, the fact that you guys are here is just incredible, and thank you so much. I know that I ask a decent amount of you guys as far as just like tossing out responses
Yep.
and feedback and things like that. And I just want to note that a huge part of that is because I genuinely think that this is partly a product of you as much as it is of us.
Yes,
and I want
definitely.
that to reflect that. And I want it to reflect something that you guys are looking for. So, I know that, you can only ask for so much help, and I certainly don't expect it, but if you guys ever are able to spread the word in whatever way that is available to you, whether it be just interacting with me online or letting people know, I honestly really do appreciate that. We're set up for power 6 words really quick.
Invisibility. No one can see you.
Making other people invisible. I don't care. That's 4. You know what? Invisible's 3 words now. Making other people
As far
invisible.
as far as you know, it's invisible. You haven't seen it.
Maybe I do have that power. I just don't realize it. That would be great. It just seems like a ridiculous power. It's like, now I can't see you. Gotcha.
It operates under the assertion that if you can't see it, it can't see you.
Yeah, I was awful at hide and seek. So,
Where are you? I don't know.
nice. There we go.
There, yep.
I don't care.
IDC.
IDC. Anyway, thank you to all of you. I know that I do that a lot, but I can't help but appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you this Friday for some Legacy. If you guys aren't into Legacy, then I hope to see you all next Saturday. I'm not going to have Coleman.
No.
You're going to be here with us in a week.
Yep.
This Saturday, I think Logan, the guy who plays
Ooh.
Enduring Ideal, is going to be my co-host.
Ooh.
He is...
Might have to borrow Enduring Ideal for that tournament.
Right? Very avid player of some pretty sweet decks, does a lot of brews. So he should be a really fun co-host.
Yep,
I'm
it's
excited
gonna
for
be
that,
fun.
and I'm excited for you guys to meet him. Okay. Excellent.
All right.
So, we're going to call it a night. I've got a big interview in the morning.
I gotta go to work.
He's got regular work to do
Yeah.
in the morning.
Ugh.
And, yeah. It's always a blast, guys. So, from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington, I'm TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And you guys have a great night. Transition.